This is Sexy Steve DeMarco. I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I listen to Houston Wrestling Radio.
This is Kelly Kevin from Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Hey there, this is Tex Lone Star from Doomsday Wrestling.
And this is Dirty Sanchez.
And you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio with Travis and Abel.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 27th episode of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
And this is Travis.
Thanks so much for tuning in with us here today, guys. We got a whole lot to talk about. A lot of things happened this past weekend. We had WrestleMania, and then we had the real pay-per-view, Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And
that was the one that was worth $70.
Yeah, I know. And then also later tonight, we are going to be interviewing Kelly Kevin from Booker T's ROW. He's a guy that's been really beloved here in the local indie scene. It's been he's crazy over.
He's infamous.
He is infamous, yes. So I'm excited about that. You know, we are probably going to skip out again a little bit on the Impact talk for this week because let's face it, Impact's going to be overshadowed this week. I was thinking maybe, you know, we were saying this last week, like, oh, we're going to talk about Impact next week, but not after this past episode of Raw. Like, I think we have plenty to talk about. So,
TNA knows they were being overshadowed this week, so
oh yeah,
if they're expecting a lot of coverage on their shows, they're horribly mistaken.
Yeah. This past week anyway.
But they are gearing up for a big show this week, which is here in Texas in Corpus Christi.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be a pretty good match. Bully Ray versus Jeff Hardy in a Full Metal
Mayhem, yes.
Or asterisk, the match they can't normally say it's TLC.
Right. It's just TLC. That's
Yeah.
all it is, basically.
But they've been hyping that show for a few weeks now.
For the last couple of weeks, they've been talking about it, so, I mean, it should be pretty good. But here's the thing about it. It's Bully versus Jeff Hardy. Bully just got the title. Jeff Hardy was the one who just lost it. It's just basically their rematch. So pretty safe to say Bully's gonna, retain, keep that title. So I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of question marks going into it.
Yeah, Hogan never lost the title this soon after winning it when he's in WO.
Right.
If that's a comparison.
I guess so. I don't know. Let's move on. Exactly. Let's move on. Sorry, TNA. You got outdone this
Sorry about your damn luck.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah. You like that?
Okay. I get it. Yeah.
I made it funny.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Speaking of making funnies, that crowd in New Jersey, they know how to bring the ha-has.
Yeah. And then some.
And then some, yes.
Man.
That was the craziest.
That's how you take over a show.
Yes, indeed. That was the craziest crowd that I've ever seen come out for a WWE show.
Yeah.
There was a pretty crazy crowd last year for Raw, and I know that there was like a big reaction for the Raw after WrestleMania 24, also after Ric Flair. Everybody was wooing.
Yeah.
I was there for Orlando. Everybody was wooing into Raw, during Raw, out of Raw, into the parking lot, on the freeway. People were fucking wooing, rolling down their windows, going woo.
They were fucking wooing?
They were fucking wooing.
Ooh. Did the cops come out and stop them?
No.
It was a free-for-all, huh?
Yes. But all that was awesome, and it was an awesome experience. But it seems as though what happened last night on this past Raw probably overshadowed that, and even overshadowed the yes and no chance from last year's Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal. It was great.
It was bananas.
Bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Wow. Man, you did that one take. Wow.
Yes, I listened to a lot of, what's her name?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you ruined it, like that.
I did.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Man, you're on the top and on the bottom. Okay. How do we want to start this off?
I think we already did.
Because they were all over the place.
They were all over the place. And you know what? I commend them for that. I mean, the hashtag that was getting thrown out there by myself and a lot of other people were "Thank You Jersey."
Yeah.
Because they made that Raw just awesome.
Well, you can't really say Jersey, but
that's the caveat there.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. A lot of people that are wrestlers in the WWE and whatnot have been saying And kind of, I don't know if they're diminishing it on purpose, but it seems as though they're diminishing it a bit by saying, oh, it was all the Europeans that were there. It was the European crowd that did that. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it is true. There's a lot of people from other countries, and there was a lot of Europeans there, from what I can just tell.
Yeah.
Especially in the earlier chants, the LA chants and whatnot. But, everybody knows the Raw after WrestleMania, that's just notorious for having the leftover diehard fans.
Yeah.
That are still there for the wrestling.
Yes.
And those are mostly the rowdiest crowds you're going to get for that year.
Right. And they're not, to say that it was all of the Europeans fans, yes, there probably was a big contingent there, but I don't think it was 70% Euros. There's probably going to be people that traveled from across our country to get there that stayed, for Raw. So there's probably still going to be a lot of Americans there. But I think the point is that, it wasn't Jersey that did that. But I don't know. If there's a crowd that is that off the wall and that rowdy, and if there's a place in the country that is that off the wall and that rowdy, it would be Jersey. I would see the Jersey people,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, we've had this discussion before about the craziest wrestling crowds.
I'm not saying that they're a crazy wrestling crowd. I'm just saying that they're an off the wall type of people, I guess.
I just think last night had just the perfect blend of just diversity in crowds and wrestling fans.
Yeah.
You just had like I said, you had the diehard fans.
Yeah.
Which you're not going to get that on any other show.
Yeah. And
if they come back a month or two from now, which they probably are now, if they weren't going to.
I would hope so.
Yeah, they're going to go back there pretty soon. I'm not expecting that same type of crowd noise.
Well, that's interesting because today's Tuesday, and we
very good, Abel.
Yes, and SmackDown's recorded on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and as we speak, SmackDown's being recorded. And I saw before we started our recording on Twitter, people talking about in SmackDown, which is in Boston tonight.
Right.
People that were waiting outside, getting ready to get into the stadium, were already fandangoing.
See, I'm worried about this too.
Okay.
The crowd, yes, they're doing some crazy shit last night.
Yes, they were.
The Fandango thing was the topper. I think everybody can agree that was crazy. And then putting over
that was the most creative thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want it to be a thing where it's always happening. Because if it's always happening, then it's just going to get annoying.
You know what? I think it is going to always happen, at least for a little while. I think.
Because that takes a lot of. It's one thing for a whole crowd just to do a woo or a yes in unison.
Yeah.
But to hum an entire theme, that takes a lot of. That takes a lot of.
You got to summon all your smart powers for that one.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, very good. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be that long-lived, basically because of the difficulty involved to actually do it.
I just don't want to see a whole bunch of crowds trying to imitate what we saw last night. Let's leave that as special.
But what I do want to see is a whole bunch of other crowds not trying to imitate, but trying to genuinely be that vocal and that active. And I know it probably won't happen because all the WrestleMania hardcores are going back to their home cities, states, countries, and what have you. But I would love it if, they come down to Houston and we'll have, a crazy Raw crowd like that. Or, back in Chicago or LA or wherever they happen to go. I would like for that to continue. Not necessarily just the fandangoing,
right.
not just that, but I mean all the just, not being afraid to chant and just steal the effing show.
Okay, I'm glad you just said it like that.
Okay.
Because, and before I say anything, I do want to get it across that I was laughing my ass off on some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And before, when this was first going, of course, the first hour or whatever, they're just being vocal. They're cheering for everything. They weren't going crazy like they were later on.
Right.
It wasn't until the Sheamus Orton match where I think things is kind of, everything fell apart.
Did Sheamus Orton happen first, or did Ziggler happen first?
I believe it was that match.
Sheamus Orton?
I believe so. Don't make me lie. I don't know. Anyway, let me get to my point here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, I was enjoying what I was hearing. When it first started during that match, at first, the back of my head, I was thinking, this is kind of disrespectful. They're just chanting for just anything. They're not paying attention to the wrestlers in the ring.
Right.
And normally that would kind of irritate me.
Mm-hmm.
But they were being they weren't like chanting boring or anything. They were just having
No, they were.
I did hear one, but that was overshadowed by other chants. They didn't stick with that. They just kind of moved on to different things, which they were having fun with it. It wasn't just they were chanting boring or anything because they were really bored. They were just and having a bad time. They're having a good time about the chants, and that got everybody out doing waves and everything.
That wave was 100 times better than the wave Cena tried to do. Was it like several months ago? Cena tried to get everybody to do the wave.
Well, because Cena, you can't. Okay, anyway, so that was for a second. I was like, man, okay, they're not focusing on the match, whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that was what I was thinking in the back of my head when I was looking at TV. I was laughing my ass off outside. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. But at one point they went to the chant, "We are awesome," which it's okay. And again, going back to me personally, I'm not for a crowd getting over at the expense of the performers. I always think the wrestlers should be the focus of what's going on. Okay. That one chant, "We are awesome," although it was appropriate at the time, I just don't think. I think that they were kind of putting over themselves, at that point.
Right.
That's my only little caveat on this whole thing.
Okay.
But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed hearing all those chants.
I see exactly what you're saying, and I understand what you mean, that they're trying to put themselves over more so, and they should be marking out for the match and chanting things that are relevant to the match. Right. But I think the fact that it wasn't like that says something. I think they were doing it more so out of frustration and anger, which is something that I think the WWE might have needed. We always talk about, if Cena wins, we riot, or if something happens, we riot. I think this is the closest thing that we're going to get, that actually shows the WWE that, hey, look, your fan base is frustrated and angry with you. And I think it was more so not saying something about Sheamus and Orton and their performance in the ring. It was more like, why are you giving us Sheamus and Orton? Why did you just have us vote and then put aside the vote?
And we need to get down here in just a second, too.
Yeah, we do. I think it was like they were so frustrated over WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They were frustrated over the stupid booking that they just saw in front of them with the let's do the tweet vote. Oh, forget the tweet vote. We're just going to wrestle. It's like, we don't want this. You guys are stupid, and we're going to hijack the show, and we're going to show you by our anger, but we're still having fun with it, but we're going to show you through our angst and anger and all of our bad emotions, and we're just going to chant what we want.
I don't want to say anger. I don't think it was because of anger. It's maybe just kind of fed up.
There you go.
But not
fed up, frustration, whatever. It may not be actual, anger. I mean, there might be a better word for it.
If it was anger, they just wouldn't have bought a ticket for it.
Yeah, but maybe it's just frustration, dislike. I mean, something reached a boiling point there where they were like, you know what? This is frustrating, and we're gonna just have our own show. We're gonna do our own thing because you guys are giving us crap. I think that's what it was. And while I understand all of your points about how, once you start chanting, "We are awesome," we're just putting ourselves over. And I understand your point about, well, you're chanting stuff that isn't even relevant to the match that's going on. I get that. I think they were trying to communicate something different at the time because of the fact that match was there and because of all the lameness, let's face it, that happened at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes too because we just got done with the biggest show of the year and we're not even talking about it.
Yeah. We just finished talking about our first 10 minutes here, talking about the crowd at Raw.
Right.
And this is our show after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That should say something.
And it does. And it's, and I don't blame the crowd. They just had to sit through WrestleMania. And, if you're like me, I did not enjoy WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I put it like this. In my mind, the last match of WrestleMania was Punk Undertaker.
Should have been anyway. Yeah.
Cause after that, the crowd was dead. The matches sucked. Triple H and Brock Lesnar. And
Yeah.
granted, now we know that Brock he got knocked out. He had a concussion or something in the first minute and a half of the match, whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that, but still, that doesn't excuse. Well, I guess it does excuse the match. But anyway, there's that. And
It excuses the match itself, but it doesn't excuse the placement. Like,
Yeah.
that match should have definitely been before Undertaker and
Right,
Punk. Like,
yeah.
Undertaker should have definitely got higher billing than that match.
it's kind of like Triple H was like, well, I'm not going to go third last on WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's
Can't do
ridiculous.
that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that I don't understand.
You're fired.
Yeah, I don't understand why that match had to be on after Punk and Taker.
They know by now. They know the past 4 or 5 years, Undertaker's matches wears that crowd out.
Yeah, it steals the show.
Yeah.
Let's face it, steals the show.
Yeah, and there's nothing else on that show that stole anything, because
Yeah,
nothing happened at WrestleMania.
yeah.
Nothing.
Our episode last week,
Right.
which was our preview episode, what was the running theme? What are the twists that can make WrestleMania awesome?
The twist is, there was no twist.
Yes, none of those effing twists that we talked about happened at Mania.
Man, we had some high hopes for that show.
Nothing happened. Yeah, we did. Because there was opportunities. Things
Oh, definitely.
could have happened
Definitely, yeah.
that could have made it awesome. The only swerve of the night for WrestleMania was Mark Henry actually winning.
Yes.
That was
wasn't
the only swerve.
That wasn't a swerve. That was just a weird booking. That was a weird booking decision. I wouldn't even call that a swerve.
No? Okay. Well, I look at it from the definition of something happening that you weren't expecting to happen. That's the only way I'm looking at it. So, if you want to put a different word on it, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But that was the only thing that happened that was unexpected. Mark Henry actually won. And of course, Mark Henry didn't win because of his technical powers or he out-wrestled Ryback. It was just because he held the rope and he fell on Ryback.
And you know what? I said it on the show. Yes, I did not like that match. I was disappointed. There was no test of strength.
There was no test of strength.
Man, I was waiting for
Oh!
that. They did the bear hug. Oh, they loved the bear
yeah.
hug.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
did he do the shell shock? He didn't do the shell
He
shock.
did. He did.
Well, he tried
after
to.
the match.
That is true, yeah, after the match.
Yeah, he tried to do it. That's when Mark Henry held onto the ropes and he got
Which is weird,
squashed.
because what was the point of doing it after the match? If you could do it, why did he lose? I don't understand why he lost.
I think WWE just knew that everybody thought Ryback was going to win, so they're like, oh, well, let's do the unexpected and have Mark Henry win. But that's funny that they're willing to do that as the one unexpected thing. Everything else was just so boring, bland, and vanilla.
Yeah. I called it after the show, I said this was a very safe show.
Yes, I'm glad you said that, because the next thing that I was going to say was that it was very conservative booking.
Yes.
Very conservative, very safe. And I wanted to make the joke. It's like, oh, Vince McMahon must have been learning something from Gary Kubiak and the Houston Texans this year, just being conservative. But I thought...
I don't get that reference.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to get that reference. Somebody out there might get that reference, but,
You think I'm kidding? I really don't.
No, I know you don't. But, I don't know. It was very conservative, very safe, very, not rock the boat-ish. All that being said...
Speaking of rock.
No. All that being said, I want to say this, because we've been kind of crapping all over WrestleMania here.
It deserves it.
Well, no, this is what I was going to say. I was going to temper that a little bit.
I won't.
If this was not WrestleMania and just another WWE pay-per-view, I think it would have been great.
Dude, what?
Yeah. If this was like Over the Limit or SummerSlam or something like that. If it wasn't Wrestle effing Mania, I thought it would have been great because, yeah, Brock and Triple H disappointed a little bit. Rock and Cena, well, who are you going to cheer for in that match, But the match itself, I thought was okay with the exception of all the damn false finishes at the end. And without all of the, the back and forth, oh, I'm going to use the rock bottom, no, I'm going to use the attitude adjustment, this and that, whatever. If you took all that kind of out of there and tempered that a little, I think that would have been a good match. But then again, like, who are you going to cheer for? Cena or The Rock?
I don't want to cheer for either one of them at this point.
Exactly. So that's the problem there. But if you take that part out of it, the fact that you don't want either guy to win,
Wait a minute, what?
if you take that out of it, it was still a really good match, I think.
I wouldn't even say it's a good match.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you wouldn't even agree with me that even if this was the card for a regular pay-per-view, that this would have been good?
No.
Really? Like you're that?
No, wait.
that
Okay,
far?
let me back up for a second.
Okay.
When I was actually watching the show, the first 4 or 5 matches was going through kind of a steady pace. You know,
Yeah.
there was no BS backstage segments. There's nothing other than matches. There's one match right after another.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of digging that. I was like, okay, this is a wrestling pay-per-view. They're doing wrestling. We're not seeing any kind of bullshit going on. It's just straight up. But nothing was happening during the matches. Like, nothing was exciting about the matches. It was there.
Yeah, we never saw like a crazy Edge spearing Jeff Hardy off of a ladder spot.
Yeah, nothing,
You know?
yeah.
There wasn't a spot that was like, okay, this is your WrestleMania memorable moment spot type thing.
Yeah.
All the matches, and again, I'll say this again, and I know you're going to disagree with it. I think all the matches were solid. And some of them were great.
No, I want to say
know?
they were solid matches. They just weren't that entertaining to me.
Okay.
There was there. You know, but once it got to Punk, that's what I say. Punk Taker was the last match for me.
Yeah. And Punk Taker was a really great match.
But it wasn't as good as maybe I was hoping, or
Really?
it wasn't as good. Maybe I just had high expectations.
You know what? I thought that match met my expectations.
Really?
I thought it was really darn good, and I liked it a lot. That match, I think, was probably about a 9 out of 10 for me. And I know this is probably like irrelevant right now, but it's also my match of the week. Like there's any other match to give match of the week. But
Yeah.
But no, that's definitely match of the week.
What'd you think of the elbow to the announce table?
Oh god, that was sick.
Yeah.
You know what?
And now we know that he's got injured from that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm going to renege on what I had just said about there was no crazy spot that was a memorable... No, that one was. That was the one crazy memorable spot.
I just wish that table broke.
Yeah. I mean...
So does Punk.
Yes, it does. It's funny, though, that you'll take that away and be the spot of WrestleMania, because I don't know if WWE is willing to acknowledge that one and put that in the highlight reel of WrestleManias when we get to like WrestleMania 40 or something of all the great WrestleManias.
Why do you say that?
Because the table didn't break. So it was kind of like, I know Punk nor Undertaker botched it. Neither one did. The table kind of botched it, but it's still
Those damn tables.
It's still a botch nonetheless. You see what
They
I
won't
mean?
sell for nobody.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But it was still an awesome spot, But I see what you mean. Now, it's interesting. I'm kind of going back to what you said there about the backstage segments. It's interesting that you like the fact that there weren't backstage segments, because I feel like the IWC's basic consensus was, there's no backstage segments? That sucks.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that a lot on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't mind.
I gotta get on this. I gotta get on this Twitter.
I know.
I'm missing out on everything.
No tweeting, mofo.
Sorry, I'm the only one in the whole world that doesn't tweet.
I know. But you know what? We just kind of screwed up our notes here because we just kind of jumped all over the place.
Fuck the notes.
Let's kind of go back and rewind a little bit, because we were starting off talking about the crowd at Jersey.
Wait. One thing I did want to mention about Punk Taker match.
Okay.
The end, where Punk was up, Taker had him up, I guess for the last ride, and he had to earn.
Yeah.
And he hit him on the back, and the referee didn't see it.
Yeah.
And the referee got up. Sorry. Were you thinking for like a split second
that Punk was going to win? Yeah.
He did. He folded the arms.
Yeah.
Did the little pose like Taker. I got out of my seat for a second.
Yeah. There was a couple of instances where I thought, oh man, they really are going to give it to Punk, but that it didn't happen, and I think that's a good thing that they had us going. They had us thinking that it would.
That was the only spot for me that I was like, oh shit, they're actually going to do it.
Yeah.
But alas, nothing exciting happened at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was no big twist.
Nothing exciting happened at the pay-per-view.
God, Travis, you're such a harsh critic. All right. Like I said, let's go back to talking about the crowd, and more so what the crowd did.
Okay.
And I think the crowd put over Fandango that night. I think it's safe to say Fandango is over.
Fandango or Fandango's theme?
Okay, interesting. Let's talk about that.
Do you think they give a shit about the wrestler? Or they're just kind of, it's a catchy tune, let's hum it.
Maybe. I don't know. They started doing that during Fandango's match, so I think that chant was different than the chants that were going on during Orton and Sheamus, where Orton and Sheamus, their chants were like, we don't care about this match, we're goofing around, we're going to chant about other stuff. But the chants during that match with Fandango, I think it was people just trying to get behind Fandango a little bit. Now, I might be biased. Yeah. I might be biased because I said it like a couple of weeks ago. I actually like Fandango. I dig it. I dig the goofy stuff, and the fact that they're humming his theme is so creative and so goofy that I really like it.
I know for a fact you were dying to be part of that crowd.
Oh, I was.
Man, I can only imagine you in New Jersey.
Oh God, I would have loved it. I would have loved it, man.
I think you literally would have died.
Yeah, I would have been like a kid in a candy store.
And that's not good for you.
Yeah, I have a freaking diabetic coma or something. But, I think Fandango's over now.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, I guess we gotta see what happens.
I think it's gonna be, I think other crowds are gonna try to imitate what just happened.
Like I said, Boston was doing it today.
Well, we'll see what happens.
But I mean, if somebody's chanting something for a wrestler, even if it may not genuinely be for that wrestler initially, I think over time it will be, I mean, I'm trying to come up with a good example, and it's escaping me right now, but the only thing I could really think of are woos and whats and yes and no's, they stick around long enough, but I think the character was over before the chants were in those instances. So I can't really think of an instance where chant was over before the character.
I think the yes and no's, I think that cemented Daniel Bryan.
Okay. So
yeah, I think before that, I think Daniel Bryan was over with the IWC.
Yeah.
I think once the yes no's chant started, that's what got him over.
That's what got him over with like the rest, the kids and the casuals.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think so.
And Daniel Bryan is still like the only guy that's over with everybody.
Who'd have thought Daniel Bryan in the ring with Kane and Undertaker?
Holy crap. Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
If he wasn't made already, he's made now.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess, real quick, just get on this. Undertaker coming out and starting a little speech was up, which I was kind of wanting to know what he was going to say, but he didn't finish his little thing because he got interrupted by Shield.
Right.
But I guess Undertaker's going to be continuing working?
I don't know. I guess so. I mean, it would seem that either for next week's Raw or for
I saw
Extreme Rules.
I saw the event for June or something. It was going to be Shield versus Undertaker, and I thought they said hell no. So
for Extreme Rules.
Maybe? Was that in June? No, that's May. But it was...
No, Extreme Rules is the next one.
In May.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I think what I was seeing was in June, but... anyway, so I guess he's going to be staying on for a little while?
That'll be interesting, man. I don't know. We all know Undertaker can, still put on good matches, apparently. I mean, there was some questions about that before WrestleMania. We even brought those up.
I will say he looked better this year than he did last year. Last year, he just looked tired and exhausted for some reason to me.
Yeah.
This year, he seemed like he could...
You think maybe that was because of Punk? Maybe Punk was making it easier on him and carrying a bigger load?
Because Punk's a better worker than Triple H?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was that year off. Maybe he just was able to train more or get in better shape somehow. I don't know. But
had some extra insure.
Yes. Because he's old, yes. Bastard.
I know. Okay. God damn it.
But how about that entrance from Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Oh my god, that was great.
Of all the WrestleMania entrances, I think I'm digging this one the most.
The Walking Dead Undertaker entrance? Yes.
I don't know who came up with that, but bravo, sir.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
I was kind of hoping to see maybe... like some druids or something, but that didn't happen. Yeah. What actually did happen was, I think it was better. Now, my question with that is, I only got to see it when it happened. I haven't been able to rewatch WrestleMania or whatever because it's $70, and I watched it at a friend's house. But I couldn't tell at the time. Was that people actually down there with lighting behind them, and they were like on the lower part of the stage reaching up, or was that on just an LED?
Oh, I don't know. I would imagine it was people, but just with lighting.
People with lighting and smoke?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if that was on their LED screen back there.
You know, but when he first came out, it looked like he was like walking up, like he was coming from the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that would be badass. Like if he's done with the match and he's walking back, he would like go back down and the hands were still coming out. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and that was right before another awesome entrance with Punk with Living Color playing him out. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say about it. Okay.
Okay, that was unexpected. I was not expecting Living Color to be performing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it was all over the internet the day of.
Again, me, internet,
Twitter.
I don't know. I don't do these things. So.
Well, we found out about it the day of.
Okay, I'm not in the know. I'm sorry, Abel.
Oh, well, I'm just letting you in the know. I'm telling you.
You're gonna be a jerk about it.
I'm not being a jerk.
All right. I'm not cool like Abel.
Oh, jeez. Nobody ever said that.
You did.
To your face.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I hate you.
You know, I don't even know where we're at right now as far as our notes go.
We're talking about wrestling and WWE and after WrestleMania. Where have you been?
I know, but I mean, as specifically where we're at.
Oh my god, dude. Okay.
Okay, we've already talked about the crowd. I kind of tried to talk to you about Fandango.
What is that?
The Big Show versus the Celtic Vipers.
The Celtic Vipers. Who came up with that?
WWE.
They really called him that?
Yeah, they did. They came up.
Was that on the internet?
I think so. I think WWE.com was the one that said that they were the Celtic Vipers.
Again, with the internet, I don't know.
Such an old man.
So, shut up. So did you saw the match on the pay-per-view, them versus Shield.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I thought it was an alright match. It definitely wasn't as good as the Shield's match at TLC. But it was good. It was decent. Rollins, Reigns, Ambrose, they all had their little moments where they did something cool. And, Sheamus, Orton, they had their little things there. And then at the end, I think that the storytelling was decent where it was like Big Show wanted the tag, but Orton kind of snuck the tag away, and that pissed off the Big Show. It's like, okay. And then Big Show just stood there and watched him get beat.
Right, yeah.
I think that was an interesting story to tell. Yeah. And I thought it was a good start to WrestleMania, even though there wasn't, like, the heel turn from Orton, which everybody was expecting. There was the heel turn from Big Show, which isn't really a heel turn because he never really turned face completely.
Well, let's talk about this because...
Okay, let's go ahead.
Because there's some debate, I guess.
Okay.
But... Yes, Big Show knocked them the fuck out after the match.
Yes, they did.
Key term, after the match.
Right.
They were talking about it on Raw. JBL was talking about it. I gotta side with JBL on this. JBL was defending Big Show, saying that he was a team player. Whatever he did to Sheamus and Orton was after the match. Mm-hmm. During the match, Orton was the one that snuck in the tag. Mm-hmm. And cost them the match.
Yep.
If I was Big Show, I'd be pissed off too. So maybe we are beginning to see a Orton, because normally that's what happens when a person turns. Mm-hmm. It's like a blind tag that cost them the match, and this and that. You know. So I'm thinking maybe we did see a heel turn from Orton, but it hasn't been revealed yet. I'm thinking maybe
the seeds were planted.
Yes. I think this was the start of it.
Okay.
I'm siding with Big Show on this one. I
can kind of buy that. I think that maybe eventually, if Orton does turn heel, that'd be great. I mean, that's what people were clamoring for on Raw.
Clearly.
That's what they wanted. They wanted Orton, not because they wanted to see Orton face the Big Show. No. It's because they wanted to see Orton do the actual heel turn that people have been thinking that would actually happen.
Although those poor fans, they were thinking Randy Savage was there, not Randy Orton.
Shut up. And, I think that's what led to so much of the venom that was in that audience at the time.
I see what you did there.
Yes, you did. Okay. So what do you think that this is going to lead to, this feud? Do you think that we're going to actually see a show on a 2-on-1 and Extreme Rules, or is it going to be a 3-way or what?
Creatively, what I would like to see is more of a master plan here for, that's gonna, crazy, but everybody thinking.
Hey, I dig the crazy. Go ahead.
Shut up. So everybody thinking that Big Show's gonna turn and make it to where it's actually Orton that turns.
Well, the one problem that I have with that wording is that I think Big Show already done went and turned. Like, yes, he has good reasons, and we can agree with JBL as to why it all happened, but I think he's a heel. Because I don't think he ever fully turned face, and then what happened at WrestleMania and with what happened at Raw, he's definitely still a heel.
Yeah, because he kind of focused on Orton during that little beatdown they did. He didn't even touch Shane. I think he just kind of threw Sheamus.
No,
he threw him into the railing. But.
He threw him into the turnbuckle force, gave him the WMD that looked really silly because he was like running and doing the WMD at the same time. But he gave him a knockout blow, and then he started attacking Orton.
Yeah, and he proceeded to beat down Orton.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That can go either way. It just depends on how they develop. Who does more dastardly things than the other one, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, hell, they could both be heel. Why not?
Yeah, Sheamus tries to talk to Orton. Orton just RKO's Sheamus or something,
So, you think this will lead to a 3-way then?
Possibly. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I was thinking that was going to happen anyways, before they did that stupid thing with Vicky and Booker coming out.
Yeah.
And saying, we've made a decision. Okay. Yeah. I was confused in the whole situation. The management situation, and you can talk about that.
Well, I don't even understand why Booker is there on Raw. I mean, look, Booker's a great guy. We like him. We go to his show. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Booker. I'm saying something. What I'm saying something bad about it is the way that it was written. Why the hell is Booker even on Raw? I mean, I understand if he happens to be on Raw, maybe he could make a match if, the other GM says, yeah, go ahead.
Right.
But the fact that he's even there with no explanation and then booking matches. That's
what got me. There was no explanation. Normally when Booker or the GM from another show comes out, there's some kind of explanation. Oh, the GM's out, or they can't make it, so I'm filling in for him or whatever.
Yeah.
That's some kind of explanation. There was no explanation. It was just like, he was like the GM of Raw.
Yeah, like Booker and Vicky. And, playing off of that, I mean, I guess some people could say that's forgivable because it looks like that's where they're going with the storyline, because it happened on later in the night where Vicky said this and then Booker, said that. So maybe there'll be some tension between Vicky and Booker, and maybe on SmackDown, Teddy will come up to Booker and be like, hey, player, why are you doing all this stuff on Raw and upstage and Vicky? It's like, I do what I want, Teddy. And like, they'll be like,
so racist.
I know. There'll be like some sort of tension there or something,
Yeah. And I don't think I meant to mention it a couple shows ago, but I'm really thinking that Teddy Long is gonna maybe turn on Booker.
Teddy will be the heel?
Yeah. Just when they were doing that thing with Ryback and Henry, Teddy was like, I got this one, when he was kind of trying to take over from Booker,
Yeah. If all this turns into, and if all this is a seed planted for a future storyline of either Booker or Teddy or turning heel or somebody getting fired as general manager or something like that, then it's okay. But if this was just for the hell of it on Raw and that's it type thing with no explanation, then that's not forgivable. All we ask for as IWC members is just explain when you do stupid crap.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a perfect illustration of that is all the stuff with Bully Ray from 2 weeks ago with TNA when he came out and he explained, oh, well, this is how I did this. This is how I got away with that. I got beat up, but, that was plan A and this went on plan B. That's all we needed to say, okay, Aces and Eights is a good storyline.
Yeah.
It just takes a little explanation. Just take that extra, 5-10 seconds.
Granted, it took a whole show to do that.
Well, yeah, because that was 9 months worth of storyline.
Right.
But, DeMarco said this when he was on our show. It's like, out of all of the hours of WWE programming they have a week, or 3 hours for Raw, 2 hours for SmackDown, 1 hour for Saturday Morning Slam, 1 hour for Superstars, 1 hour for NXT, all the tweets and touts and da-da-da, between all that stuff, you're trying to tell me you can't get on with a 5-10 second explanation. Oh yeah, Booker was on Raw because Vince invited him, or he was still in town because of Hall of Fame, and Vicky said it's okay, or something like that. You know, you can't.
Don't insult our intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the crowd was saying when they were chanting.
Yes, I think there was a lot of that sentiment there in the crowd in Jersey that night.
Because
whether it was Jersey people or UK people or whoever.
Right, because when the crazy chant started, it was after that match started, Sheamus Orton. And that was the whole confusing situation where it's like they were bickering back and forth and who's going to fight who. And then they came out and said, well, they said, let's have a vote. The announcer said, let's have a vote.
They had a vote.
Yeah, they had a vote. They'd come back from the commercial break. They announced the winner. And then both GMs or both whoever's in charge both come out. We made a decision. Y'all are going to fight each other. What? Then why did we just...
And if that's the case, who made the decision to do the vote in the first
place?
Exactly. That, you're telling me that wasn't administered by one of the GMs?
Yeah. And, and connecting this back to the fans not, paying attention to the wrestlers in the ring or whatever, or disrespecting the performers. If WWE is not going to take the time to explain themselves on decent storylines or booking, then we're not going to take the time to pay attention to what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
Fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
Yeah.
And, that was just such an interesting psychology going on with that crowd. And it's something that we can, and we have been talking about all night here. So, but.
Well, it's a big thing to talk about. They took over that show.
They did. They did. And it's commendable that they did.
Yeah.
At least as a fellow member of the IWC, I think it's commendable.
And hearing those crowds, hearing the noise from that crowd, you got you thinking, man, when was the last time that we had a crowd like that?
The Raw after last year's WrestleMania.
Is that sad?
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's get to the big point where the crowd really
when the crowd
cemented.
Was effing happy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
When the crowd was happy was when we heard Dolph Ziggler's music hit after Del Rio got his ass whooped by Swagger.
That crowd blew the fuck up.
Yes. That place came unglued.
That was like a Stone Cold glass shattering entrance.
Yes, that was so awesome when that happened.
That made that moment.
Yes. That night is going to be remembered for those two things, the crowd and Ziggler cashing in. Yeah, there's a couple other things on the card that were pretty good, but when people are going to look back on this Raw, they're going to think, oh, that's when Ziggler cashed in. That's when there was that crazy ass crowd in Jersey.
Right, yeah.
Ziggler cashing in, man, that was overdue.
Yeah.
And I'm
so glad that happened at that show.
Yes.
Because I go back to it again, but man, that crowd
made it awesome.
Yes.
But had that crowd not been there, had it been just a regular Raw crowd, I would be so effing upset that it happened at Raw and not Mania.
Yes, exactly.
Because look what happened. There's a match between Swagger and Del Rio. Swagger was working the leg all match long.
Right, yeah.
Del Rio still somehow wins, but he's a one-legged man. And then Ziggler comes out and cashes in. That could have happened plausibly on Mania.
Yeah.
Even during their match at Mania, Swagger was working the leg.
Yeah.
It wasn't as pronounced as it was on Monday.
Yeah.
He didn't work the leg as much as he did on Monday, but he did it. He did it at Mania. He worked the leg, and the match ended. Del Rio was victorious. Had he just worked the leg a little bit more, boom, Ziggler could have come out. Why? Why did that happen on the Mania after? Or, excuse me, the Raw after? Why didn't it actually happen at Mania? The only reason that I could think about that this might have happened and it might have taken place is that they were concerned about time. And they didn't think they were going to have enough time to squeeze that in. You know what? We wanted to do this. This was the plan. We were going to do it at Mania, but you know what, man? We just don't have enough time. We'll just have Del Rio and Swagger do a rematch on Raw. We'll do it on Raw.
Maybe.
Which is bullshit. If that's the scenario that happened, it's bullshit. It worked out because of the crowd.
Yes.
But had that crowd not been as hyped as they were, I would be livid right now. But I'm not.
Well, I agree with you on that. That made no sense. That if they were going to do that, there was a couple instances where it just did not make any sense. We'll get in here in just a second. But the Ziggler thing, I don't get it.
And let's face it, Swagger versus Del Rio, yeah, sure, it was a 2-on with Swagger and Zeb. Let's face it, it was just a rematch. You know, you could say, oh, it was a 2-on-1 with Zeb. No, it was the same damn match that we saw the night before.
Zeb didn't even get in there.
Zeb didn't even get in there.
Yeah.
I think just putting Zeb in there and making it a 2-on-1 was the excuse that they
exactly.
used to actually have the match.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I agree. Yeah. The thing is, you know, there was, you know, possibly a time issue, because, we found out there was a missing match, from Mania.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Well, are we done with Swagger, Del Rio, and Ziggler?
I think WWE is. So.
Well, for now, we'll probably circle back around to it. Maybe. I don't know. But the way this show's been going today.
Yeah.
But no. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on to what you just referenced. Speaking of time constraints and whatnot, it seems as though one of the matches that I was really looking forward to, got cut. Mm-hmm. With Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls versus Rhodes Scholars and the Bellas. That got cut. And that sucks, because I was really looking forward to that match. But in the grand scheme of things, had that just gotten cut and that was it, and be like, okay. But here's where it gets funny. It got cut from Mania. They put it on Raw, which is great. Okay, It was on Raw. They let them have their little 5-minute match or whatever.
Yeah.
And come to find out today that when they did their little editing to put up Raw on Hulu, they cut the damn match. So they got
curses.
They got bumped from Mania, put on Raw, then they got bumped from Raw once it got put on Hulu. These guys can't win for losing, man.
Wow.
That's sad.
That's kind of sad, actually.
And it sucks because it was all because of time constraints.
Yeah.
And you had a 4-hour effing pay-per-view. You're telling me
I don't understand where the time cuts came from. Unless Diddy went on too long, maybe?
Well, here's what it is. Well, I don't know who went long. Maybe somebody went long. Maybe it was Shield and the Faces that went long to start off the show.
But
maybe.
no,
I don't know.
For WrestleMania, that's timed. I mean, I'm sure they had all that.
It should be. It should be timed. But here's where they could have made up for that. There was three vignettes on Rock versus Cena. There was one that was just for Cena. There was one that was just for The Rock, and there was one about both of them.
Right.
We already ordered the damn pay-per-view. Why are you playing the commercials for your pay-per-view on the pay-per-view?
I don't know. No, I thought that was kind of weird that there was no like pre-match interviews or promos from The Rock.
That would have been 17 zillion times better if they had just given The Rock...
That's his trademark, though.
Yeah, a backstage, and don't let him do story time with The Rock, because that would have been a waste of time. But it was like, you know, just an old school type of, you know, Rock just making fun of Cena, just letting it all hang out the way he hasn't been able to during PG TV. Let him do it at Mania. You know, take away those 3 vignettes. Let The Rock have one of those segments.
Just a quick little backstage where he's kind of pacing back and forth, and the interviewer's like, hey, Rock, what do you think?
Have freaking Josh Matthews out there.
Yeah.
And then have him start making fun of Josh Matthews.
Yeah, it'd be easy.
Yeah, or Matt Stryker.
Yeah.
You know, one of those 2 jabronis.
Yeah.
And he could call them jabronis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he even said jabroni?
No, he hasn't. Like, why did he forget how to say jabroni?
It's not PG?
He hardly says Rudy Poo Candy Ass.
Yeah. I think the only time he said candy ass was when he was doing story time.
Yeah. Come on, man.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I don't like.
The Rock it hasn't been The Rock. The Rock has been Dwayne.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, so that was one thing where they could have saved time. They could have also saved time from Diddy. I said this last week's episode. I don't really like it when there's musical interludes just for the sake of a musical interlude. So I'm not cool with Diddy, but I am cool with Living Colour, because Living Colour played out somebody to the ring.
Yeah.
You know, Diddy, to have Diddy on there just for the Diddy's sake.
You know what it is?
Fuck it.
You know what it was?
What?
That was their Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes.
Because they always said it's the Super Bowl of you know, it's their Super Bowl.
Oh, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was talking to the group that I was with and watching WrestleMania. I was talking to them about this, okay, where WrestleMania is not the Super Bowl. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah. But here's how. The Super Bowl needs a halftime show because with the Super Bowl, you never really know how the Super Bowl is actually going to be. It could be a landslide where, it's like 52-0 or something. And it's like, oh man, this is such a big TV event. We got to put something else in there that's going to keep the attention of the viewers. So you know what? Let's have a really awesome halftime show with mainstream people, whatever, this and that. WrestleMania doesn't need that because WrestleMania can control what's going on in the quote unquote game, so to speak. In the Super Bowl, you can't control whether or not it's going to be a good football game.
Right.
But with WrestleMania, you could control whether or not it's going to be good matches and good WrestleMania.
What do you mean, Abel?
I'm explaining what I mean. They could control that. Everything is scripted. Everything.
What?
Shut up, Travis. Let me
I'm
get
so
my point
confused.
out there.
I'm so confused.
Wrestling's fake, Travis.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm out of here.
Travis just walked out, ladies and gentlemen. I think I broke his little Marky heart. Travis! Come back! I think he's gone, folks. Hey, buddy.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
No.
No? Is it still real to you?
It's still real to me, damn it.
This guy, man. Last week it was the peeps. This week you're walking out on us. Well, you're just Mr. Gimmick over here, ain't you? Do you see the point that I was trying to make?
Yes.
Since you can control how well all the shit goes down at Mania, you don't need the little musical interludes from the big name people to get to make the show good. Okay?
Gotcha.
That's what I was trying to say.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, now you're okay. This freaking guy. This guy. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? Let's just move on. Yeah, Tons of Funk, whatever. They didn't have their thing. Haha, whatever. Let's move on to some another anomaly from the past couple of days here.
We're losing track of anomalies here.
Well, here's another one. The Intercontinental title.
The what?
First of all,
Yeah.
the Intercontinental title was defended on the pre-show of WrestleMania. And we predicted that The Miz was going to win. That way, WrestleMania hasn't even started and there's already a title change. Okay, I get it. That's fine. And Barrett hasn't really been doing a whole lot with it, so, what the hell. Give it to The Miz. I was happy. I like The Miz. I know you hate The Miz. Whatever. Shut up.
Well, someone's got to like The Miz.
And then, what happens on Raw? Miz drops the belt back to Barrett?
Man.
WTF?
Yeah, you got me on that one, man. I don't know.
When's the last time that's happened?
It's happened before. I know it's happened. But
Was it Kane? Kane winning the WWE title and then losing it on Raw after?
That's a good example, but there's been other instances before. That's like probably the most prominent example because it was the world title.
Yeah.
But there's been other times it's happened. Tag team titles are notorious for changing the next day or whatever. But the IC champ, that's a high mid-card title to be doing that.
Yeah. I don't understand why they did that. Like, why have Miz win it one night and then drop it the next night? And win it on the pre-show,
If you're gonna do that, do it with Bo Dallas instead. Give it to him for a night. You know how much he could use that.
Yeah.
But then they dropped the whole thing anyway, so.
So he couldn't use that.
What was the point?
I don't know.
Then what was the point of feuding with The Miz if that was all that was gonna happen with that?
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why they did that. I understand that with, the atmosphere and all the stuff that went into Raw, that there was a little bit of quote unquote chaos and the writers had to rewrite some stuff, but that's all related to the world title, or excuse me, the WWE title and The Rock and them not showing up. What the hell does that have anything to do with the IC title? Like, nothing. Like,
not really. No.
So either somebody had the harebrained idea like, oh, well, while we're rewriting Raw, let's also, just have The Miz lose the belt and just be trolling. Or they planned that this whole time. they planned for The Miz to win it on the pre-show of WrestleMania and then lose it at Raw? Like, what? But neither one of those things, neither one of those scenarios makes any sense.
And this isn't even TNA.
Yeah. You're going there, huh? You're going there.
Well, if they're gonna go there, I'm gonna go there. Alright?
Alright. I guess all I can really say is WTF, and I just gotta scratch my head. Is there anything you can add to that?
WTF, because that was not only for the IC title situation, but the Money in the Bank situation also. Both of those things,
Yeah.
it kind of correlates to the same thing, I think. You know, they could have done something really good on Mania. First of all, having the IC title match on the pay-per-view.
On the card.
You know.
Yeah.
And put one of the tag matches on the pre-show. Or hell, just a US title match.
Haha. You know, here's the other thing about that 1 hour pre-show.
Yeah.
We actually fired up the 1 hour pre-show on YouTube.
Right, I did too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that match, the IC title match, was only, it started like halfway through,
right,
and it ended with like 10 minutes still left over. You're telling me that you had an hour-long show and you could only fit one 15, maybe 20-minute match on there? Come on, you could have fit another match on there, even if it was just a 10-minute match. Something short, something small.
I told you that. I think I called that last week.
I think you did, yeah.
It was going to be like a 10-minute match and 50 minutes of promos. Which I will say one thing I did like about the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
I like the little Fox Sports-esque little booth that they had.
Yeah.
With was it Scott Sanford, Dusty Rhodes, Jim Ross, and Kofi?
And Kofi.
What?
Kofi got his WrestleMania payday.
That's his WrestleMania moment. But they did that for the post show also, you know.
Yeah,
and
I didn't see the post show.
I didn't either, but I heard about it. So
okay.
But yeah, I like that, and apparently I've read that today that they're going to be doing that from now on for their pay-per-views.
Okay. Well,
so, and I like it. It makes it feel more big time, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does make it feel a little bit more important, but I also want to view it from a utility standpoint. There was 40, 50 minutes of unused time where they could have had a match, or they could have, it was rumored that Funkadactyl's match was bumped even before WrestleMania started. Well, if you're gonna bump that match, why not bump it onto the pre-show and not bump it off the card altogether? They could have had that little 10, 15-minute match right before the IC title match, and they still would have had a good 20, 30 minutes in there for pre-show and hyping and that ESPN booth and Kofi to have his his payday and all that shit. They could have done that, you know, but they didn't, you know?
Yeah. WrestleMania was just weird.
Yeah.
There's just so many oddball things going on. Nothing happened.
Oddball things and conservativists.
Other than the world title changing, but other than, you know, the WWE title changing, but we kind of saw that happen anyways.
Well, yeah.
So that wasn't really, hey, look, you won.
Well, I mean, again, that goes back to who are you going to cheer for?
Exactly.
The Rock or Cena? I mean, I want to cheer for The Rock. I loved The Rock. But The Rock's not The Rock.
Past tense.
Past tense. The Rock's not The Rock. The Rock is Dwayne now.
You know, last week when I was mentioning to you my feelings towards him, I couldn't think of a word for it. I was searching for a word. I found my word I was looking for. The reason I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Self-absorbed. He does.
Okay. I don't know if I go there, but state your case.
I'll state my case. Asshole. He does everything just, you know, like I mentioned last week, you know, he did all these followers that he has, on Twitter. Doesn't follow a single one of them. You know, he always takes pictures of himself, or excuse me, he obviously has someone taking pictures of him, doing things like posing or lifting weights, or looking off to the sunset, or standing next to his private jet. You know, and all there's other stuff that he does. You know, always talking about his his photo shoots and movies and all this other stuff he's doing. So it gets kind of like, okay, really, you're doing this again? Okay, great. You know, that's just me. That's why I don't like to cheer for him anymore. But.
Okay.
Is that good enough? Is that a good reason to justify my opinion towards The Rock, towards you?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's how you justify it in your own head. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerk.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I want to accuse The Rock of being self-absorbed and he's just being too selfish. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. But I am ready to say that he's not who he used to be. Whether he just forgot how to do all the stuff, or is it just because it's the PG era and they're muting him a little bit? I don't know. But either way, it ain't how it used to be.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay. We have written down on here, and I think we kind of already touched on it, but do you want to talk about Undertaker and Punk a little bit more? Or are you fine with what we've already said today?
Yeah, we're good. I think we covered everything on that.
Okay. It could have been, the one awesome thing that was the twist that we would be talking about today. But instead of it being the one awesome twist, it's just the one awesome match. Is that a fair way to put it?
Sure, we'll put it like that.
Okay.
But could you imagine, hold on, if Punk did win, first of all, that would just be bananas in the first place.
Yeah.
But then going into Raw with that crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine what that crowd would have done?
I understand why Punk wasn't there, because he's banged up, he needs to take some time off, whatever. But, oh, man.
I bet he was wishing he was there.
If there was a crowd for Punk to come out and say something stupid, it would have been that crowd to say something stupid too.
Oh, no, he would have been over like Austin.
Oh, yeah. Like, it would have been amazing seeing Punk try to get heat from that crowd. Like,
it would have been comical.
Yeah, it would have been comical, because the more heat he tried to get, the more over he'd get. Mm-hmm. And it would just push him more and more, so he would get more outlandish and more ridiculous with his heelish stuff. Yeah. I just think that would have been so awesome. But, oh, man, it had to be saved for another day, I suppose. It's just, I understand, he's injured and whatnot, and I hope he gets to feeling better. But, man, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. All right. Okay, so you want to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about The Undertaker on Raw.
Okay.
With the Shield coming out, and hell no. Or did we already touch on this?
We kind of already talked about this.
We did. Damn, this is why I don't like it when we jump all over the place so we don't go by the notes.
I do this on purpose.
Just to screw me up, don't you? Okay.
You're welcome.
You think this will happen in Extreme Rules? Team Hell Yes versus the Shield?
Yeah. Hell yes.
Hell yes. Okay.
And then after that, I kind of want to see Shield break up.
Okay.
I'm ready for them to go singles.
All three of them?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm kind of curious because we were talking about it a couple of shows ago.
Yeah, we were saying that.
I do want to see what they can do individually because Rollins, he is the risk taker. He's the kind of not the high flyer, but he takes risks.
He takes the crazy bumps and he does the crazy offense.
I think Ambrose is more the technician and
talker.
Yeah, and then Reigns is just the
power guy.
Yeah. The Batista.
I would like to see him versus Ryback at some point.
We never got that.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping, when Ryback was really feuding with him, I was kind of hoping, it would be, 1 week it'd be Ryback versus Rollins, and then next week it'd be Ryback versus Ambrose, and then, the big culmination would be...
Ryback versus Reigns?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah. And, I mean, hey, they're all still young in their careers, so we'll probably see it someday.
This is that... Shield is the future of WWE,
Shield,
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. The other thing I have here is Rock's absence. See what I did there? His absence.
Because he has no more abs.
Yes, because his abs hurt. They're injured.
They're not part of his body anymore.
Right. Okay.
We shouldn't joke about injury to a wrestler.
No, we shouldn't. But anytime you could get a good lighthearted pun in, why
true.
not?
Why the hell not?
Yeah. Okay. Do we think that this is a legit injury?
Normally under normal circumstances, I would say yes. Mm-hmm. But this is weird circumstance. We kind of knew that he was going to be taking a break after Mania. And that match, I don't recall it being very physically demanding.
Right.
On Rock, but then again, I don't know.
Then again, you're not a wrestler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be so blunt about it, but sure. Yeah. Thanks, pal.
You're welcome.
So, what do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when the story first broke, there was a lot of heat on him people saying, oh, you just left and blah, 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 like, and that left WWE holding the bag and having to do all these rewrites and people wondering what the actual story was behind that. I don't know. I mean, cause now, today, everybody online is kind of saying that, well, okay, this probably was a legitimate thing and he really is hurt and people are concerned. And if he really is hurt, I'm concerned too. I mean, we just got done talking about how, The Rock isn't who he was and, we don't really cheer for him anymore. We don't like him anymore. But the truth is, there's always going to be that special spot in our hearts for The Rock. At least that's how I feel. And I don't want to see any wrestler, whether we like him or don't like him, to be injured and have that type of injury,
Right, yeah.
So if it is real, I hope he, gets better and I hope he, we'll find a good doctor, which I'm sure he will, because he's a freaking millionaire. But it sucks. But the whole reason why this is a topic is because of the way that it broke, Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be on Raw. I mean, you just said a little while ago that he was going to take some time off after Mania. That's true. But he was supposed to be on this past Raw. He was advertised. People who bought tickets months ago were saying that, yeah, he was advertised to actually be there.
Right.
And, there were some people that were disappointed, but of course that Raw wound up turning out awesome anyway, so there was no people asking for the refunds or anything like that. But it was just strange, because if you're injured, which, Cena's injured also, Punk's injured also, what's stopping them from maybe just doing a quick promo or even a via satellite promo or something like that? No, and why take off to LA when you're in New York? Why go cross country to go visit a doctor? There's no doctors in New York. WWE can't hook you up with a good doctor. Why do you have to go home to do it?
Well, the doctor that he owns is in LA.
He owns a doctor. What?
He's got him in his. He's got a little room, little chain on him, and he lets him off.
He lets him out every so often.
Yeah.
You know what? The truth may not be far from that. He might have like a doctor that's like his doctor.
Yeah.
That is doctor to the stars, and he has a big practice in Hollywood and something like that. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not close enough to the situation to make a black or white decision on it, but there's a little bit of controversy there. But people are starting to say, that they're okay with it. So much like the stuff about Paul Bearer and people saying, oh well, they shouldn't have used him in the storyline. Well, in the end, we don't really know, so maybe we shouldn't get too involved in it and too caught up in it, because wrestlers are out there saying that it's okay. So if wrestlers are saying that it's okay that they were using Paul Bearer as a storyline, okay. And if wrestlers are saying that it's okay that The Rock went back to Hollywood because he injured himself, then we gotta take that at face value and say it's okay.
Well, how about this for face value?
Okay.
Before the story broke that he injured or tore his abs off his pelvic bone or whatever he did, he tweeted this to Dana White. My tequila bottle waits when I get home.
Okay. He's going to self-medicate with tequila?
Yep. And he can't wait for UFC. So, there you go. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, but I mean...
Like, he tweeted that, and then after that, I was like, oh, he's injured.
Yeah. Well, maybe he wanted to... Maybe he knew something was wrong with him, but he's like, I'm going to go home, take a shot of tequila, and I'll see my doctor in the morning.
He takes a drink, and then, like, the water comes out his side or something.
Show you. Okay, anything else we want to say about Rocky?
Nah. Sayonara? Okay. I don't
know. Alright. Now let's talk about this. Cena's heel turn.
He turned his heel.
He did. Speaking of puns, that was a great little pun. He was interacting with the crowd, and I think that was the thing that first got the crowd a little bit riled up. And you said earlier that we were talking about that there weren't boring chants or whatever. There was plenty of boring chants during his opening promo.
Well, I heard one boring chant during his promo.
I thought there was at least 2 or 3 that I heard.
Well, you hear boring chants wherever you go, so...
Oh, really?
Because you think they're directed at you.
Oh, okay.
Because they are.
Well, anyway, he was getting heat.
Yeah.
Which is expected. And I think that was the first drop in the bucket, if you will, to start getting that crowd riled up. And, it was kind of funny. I mean, we saw the video that you had posted on Facebook, where he was getting interviewed by that guy from that one radio station in New York, where he did the same little joke. Oh, yeah. Look at my shoes. There's your heel turn. Yeah. So it's like, okay, whatever. He's being funny, but...
You know, it's funny. I posted that, so I knew the joke, the heel turn joke.
Yeah.
But when he's doing it on Raw, I really didn't know where he was going with that.
Really? He got you. He got you again.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. Go figure.
Go figure. I think that this is an example of that conspiracy theory that I've been peddling for the last couple of weeks, saying that the WWE is working the IWC.
Well, clearly, last night they were.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely last night. They were working us, and I think it's been going on for a little bit longer than what we think, and I'm not saying that they've been successful at it by any means, but I think it's a thing. Because, you know, somebody's got to be sitting there sorting and sifting through all the tweets to put up on the little ticker.
Right.
They got to take the ones that are pro WWE and pro what's going on. And to get a pro WWE tweet, they probably have to go through maybe 4 or 5 for each, 4 or 5 negative ones for each positive one.
400 or 500 maybe.
Well, maybe. You might be right. But there's no way that the WWE doesn't know what our opinion is. There's no way that they don't know what the IWC thinks of Cena and thinks of Santino, even the most insignificant guy on the roster. They know what we think. They see what we're saying. So I think that they play to that. And last night was a great example. They got us all nice and pissed off, and before Ziggler cashed in, when we were gonna have Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter versus Del Rio, there was like this collective ugh from the IWC.
I did when I saw the graphic.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. And I think that was the general sentiment. And I saw tweets saying that if Ziggler doesn't cash in, I'm done, I'm not watching, or I'll be pissed off, or we riot, or what have you. There's people saying that type of stuff. So it was like, they're really setting us up. They're really, they're working us. They're working us because we're all pissed off. We're all frustrated. There's no way Ziggler can't cash in tonight. Ziggler has to cash in tonight. And that was on Twitter, us sitting at home watching TV. And the crowd was echoing our sentiments there. They were chanting, "We want Ziggler," the whole freaking night. And then we got Ziggler. Now, going back to the conversation that we had a little bit earlier, I still think it should have happened at WrestleMania. Yeah. But the fact that it didn't, they're still working us. They're still doing it.
That particular part with him cashing in, that all fit together perfectly with that crowd and that atmosphere.
Yes, it did.
I'm glad it happened on Raw, like you said. If it happened on Mania, it may not have been as special.
Right, but only because of the crowd at that Raw.
Yeah.
Like I said, had it been a different crowd, a different Raw, it wouldn't be the case. But
right.
Anyway, going back to what sparked all this, because we went back to Ziggler. Cena's, I think he's laying it on a little bit more thick nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. These past a week or so.
Yeah, he's really been acknowledging us, but acknowledging us in a way like, I know you want me to turn heel, but I ain't.
Did you notice on, I think it was WrestleMania and on Raw, definitely on WrestleMania I saw it when he was doing his entrance, he did a little strut.
Yeah.
Like a little cocky ass,
yeah.
Look at me kind of strut, you know?
I'm a face, and I'm gonna get you to boo me more, because I am a face.
Yeah, he seemed...
He's like an anti-heel.
He's got a...
That's actually not my phrasing. I got that off of another podcast that I was called into yesterday, the Wrestleheads Radio.
Yeah.
So, but we'll plug them later. But yeah, they coined that phrase. He would be an anti-heel.
Yeah, that's a good sentiment, I guess.
Yeah. I definitely think it is a good way of putting it, a good sentiment, a way to say it. And if that is what they're doing, and if WWE is getting smarter with working us and work us more successfully, I think it might actually be a good thing, because you can only do so much with the kids. You can't really piss off the kids that much, because if a kid gets pissed off, they're heartbroken, and they will not watch. If you piss us off, we'll just get mad and watch your show, but watch it angrily. But we'll still watch the show. Right. So we could take it a little bit more. And so I think maybe that's why WWE is doing it. They can
They can push our buttons.
They can push our buttons, and they know they can. They can't necessarily push the kids' buttons, so they have to appease the kids and make them happy.
Damn brats.
You know? But with us, they don't necessarily have to make us happy, but, once every now and again. And
throw us a bone.
And we got our bone throwed to us at Raw. Is that a good way to put that? I'm gonna stick with it. All right, let's move on. So anyway,
yes, Cena. No pun intended. I'm not meaning this as fun, but Cena had a little bit of swagger.
Yeah.
In his step there, and in his past couple when his walkouts here to the ring.
Yeah.
So which is I think I like to see where they're going with this. How far are they going to be pushing our buttons? How far are they going to be, like you said, trolling the IWC?
Yeah.
So
I think that's exactly what they're doing, man.
And they need to do that. If they're not going to turn him heel, make him have some kind of mannerisms where it's okay to, boo him or something.
Yeah, like from WWE's perspective, if they start doing that, we're not booing him now because we don't like him. We're booing him because he's actually drawing heat from us.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is a good thing in the world of wrestling.
And the kids don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Because they're stupid.
Because they're kids.
Yeah, dumb little kids, they don't know anything. Yeah. So they're still going to be cheering for him, wearing his shirts, and...
Dumb little kids, they don't know anything.
And, wearing the little Cena hats and the shirts and the armbands and whatnot, thinking they're cool. And that's cool, so he can still be their hero. Mm-hmm. But he'll still do the one or two little things, like the little heel turn or the little strut out to the ring that make us like, boo this guy,
Yeah. Or like when he was saying, when he repeated, and the cheers, and everybody was booing him, it's like, no, the cheers, like, he's like really saying,
like really playing it thick,
really, laying it on, yeah. So,
if he starts doing this, I can dig this,
Yeah, and I can dig it too. I mean, there's like a fine line. Again, it goes back to the thing about just take the 5-10 seconds to explain your stupid move on your storyline. And, with Cena, with the heel heat that he's getting, just play it up and let us know that you're wanting us, to let us know that this is actually what you're doing. But then again, maybe letting us know would be a bad thing. But it just kind of, it's different. I'm having a hard time trying to put it into words, but...
You're having a hard time saying that you're starting to like Cena?
No, I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying I like what they're doing with Cena, and...
Which will make it to where you can like him.
No. It's making us hate him, but hate him in a different way.
Opposite of hate is like. So
shut up, Travis.
I'm going to get you to say this.
Maybe
not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday.
No, maybe once he turns heel, I'll like him.
Oh, God.
A full traditional heel. Let's talk about a full traditional heel that I do like. Mark Henry.
Ah, yes.
Or as the New Jersey crowd referred to him as, Sexual Chocolate.
Oh,
oh man, that crowd was on fire, man. And I was so glad that he was getting that much attention. And I think that if you had, Mark Henry versus John Cena as the main event, that would have been the sentiment if it was on any other Raw. But on this Raw, on this particular night, Mark Henry versus John Cena was alright. We had the crowd behind it. We had the crowd chanting Sexual Chocolate. You had Cena playing along with it. You had Mark Henry just kind of looking at the crowd all pissed off. I think it worked. And Henry was like a professional. He seemed as though he was the only guy that wasn't really rattled, maybe besides Big Show, that wasn't really rattled by that crowd.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, I don't think he was either. I think him and Big Show were the only two. Sheamus, Orton, they seemed a little like, what the hell's going on here? But, maybe even Jericho and Fandango a little bit. But Henry and Big Show,
Yeah, it's kind of like, Cena's kind of joking around and the audience is laying it on thick with Cena and everything, and they're going back and forth. Henry's music hits. And then it sounds like, it's like, okay, everybody calm down. Henry's coming through.
Y'all need to shut the hell up. I'm going down.
Get off my lawn.
That's what I do.
I'm hungry.
And I loved every second of it. I loved all that. I don't know if you want to call it love that they were showing Henry, because they kind of were. They were kind of.
Because Henry's got such a no nonsense attitude. And then, like, when he's looking under the crowd, it's like, Like, what's going on here? I mean, not what's going on, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
The match happened, and this was something that was another WTF. Like, what? Okay, this is stupid. I want to fight John Cena for the title. Okay, you can fight John Cena for the title, but you have to fight John Cena first. So if you beat John Cena, then you get a chance to beat John Cena. What?
Yeah, that was before Raw got really crazy. I was starting to kind of make notes here of what was going on the show. And that opening segment the whole segment was WTF.
Yeah, it was strange the way it was booked.
Yeah. First of all, Booker coming
Why
out.
Booker?
Why is Booker?
Again.
Just give us an explanation. We already covered that, but
Yeah.
we get that the loser of the title match gets a rematch.
Yeah.
I've never remember being considered them still the number one contender. I just thought of it.
You're talking about The Rock, right?
Right. Well, just anybody. I've never heard it where they get a rematch. I never heard them considered as the number one contender.
Yeah, a champ who loses a title who automatically gets their rematch. They're getting a rematch.
They're getting a
not
rematch,
necessarily,
right? Yeah.
Quote unquote number one contender. Yeah,
even Cena talked about. I haven't been watching the Power 25, whatever, but I don't know who's the next guy up. So he was ready
to move on.
Take the next contender.
Yeah.
But apparently he can't have a title shot until Rock comes back.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
And then Henry comes out and he says, I'll fight you.
I think that, again, man, it's just the little things. If Booker would have came out and instead of said, well, he's still the number one contender. If Booker would have came out and said, well, he would have his rematch, but he's injured and the show must go on.
Exactly, yes.
Like, if he would have said it that way, it would have been better. But but instead he said, oh, well, The Rock is the number one contender. So, Mark Henry, you can't be the number one contender. But to be the number one contender, you could beat the champ so that you could fight the champ again. What the what?
What is the power ranking structure of WWE?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like
what if Henry didn't come out? What if Santino came out?
Yeah.
Santino's
is that all it takes? Just somebody to come out and say, hey, I want a challenge? Like, is it that simple?
What about the aforementioned Power 25 that Cena just mentioned like 5 minutes earlier?
Yeah.
Does that not matter?
I don't know. I don't know how the Power 25 works.
Apparently not, since Cena doesn't look at it, apparently.
Yeah, apparently he doesn't even know how it works. Yeah, the champ, the face of your company
doesn't understand. Yeah, he even said, I haven't looked at it this week, but...
Yeah. WTF.
That whole and that could have been a start for the crowd. Like,
yeah.
What? What's
yeah, the start of the frustration.
And then it goes into the tweet or the poll and the Orton Sheamus thing. That's what set it off. But I think the initial seeds planted was that opening segment there.
And I don't know if that was just like bad booking or Booker just wording it funny or what.
No, probably Booker wording it funny.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, who told him to word it that way? I don't know, but...
Vicky?
Again, why the hell was Booker the one doing this, not Vicky?
Thank you. Yes.
And that was kind of a heel thing to do, so why not have Vicky, who's the heel GM, do it anyway?
Yeah. Okay, and getting to Vicky, what was that? What do you think was up with that segment when it was, I guess, Vicky and
Maddox?
Maddox? Yeah.
Maddox.
Maddox. Yeah.
Maddox.
Maddox. Yeah. So.
God damn it.
What was the thing with their backstage thing?
I don't know. They were just doing.
Are they buddy now? Because before she's like, no, you don't.
I think maybe he's growing on her.
Or in her.
Ooh.
Hey, he coined the frame Bricky. So.
Aye.
Yeah, but let's keep it PG.
Eddie.
Oh jeez.
Oh, you're going to hell.
You said it. And what was the thing with when Maddox said
Maddox.
When Maddox said that you owe us one. You can do that match, but you owe us one.
Well, he was saying that if we grant you this
right, you owe us one. What do you think that's gonna be? Because he walked out and then he looked at Vicky and Vicky's like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." You know?
I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see that later.
Yeah,
but the match was never granted, so there's no obligation for the other end of the deal to be held up. So maybe we'll never know what he had.
That whole situation was just fucked. It's like, okay, Vicky, who's in charge of Raw, said that Sheamus could have a match.
Yeah,
great. Orton goes to Booker T, who's not even in charge of the show.
Right.
And Booker already knew.
And he coerced Booker. Yeah, Booker already knew he wasn't in charge of the show.
He said, Vicky's already booked that match, so I can't do anything about it. And Orton, apparently, Booker has a really good ego.
Yeah, all he did was
Or
stroke
maybe
his
he's,
ego a little
maybe
bit.
he's on Cloud 9 because he's Hall of Famer now.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe that's why he's in charge of Raw. He's a Hall of Famer now.
And Vicky's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. I don't know. Anyway, why was there no, like, backstage thing between Vicky, like, going to Booker? Like, what? Saying,
Yeah.
why are you obstructing my show?
Yeah, you thought there would be that clash there where, Booker and Vicky would be like, hey, what the hell, why are you doing? Yeah. But no, the next time we see both Booker and Vicky is when they're coming out and saying, we've made a decision to fuck the votes and have a match. Like,
and fuck the audience, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Like, none of that backstage stuff made sense. And maybe that was because of The Rock and his, injury.
But again, what does that have to do with The Rock?
I know. I mean, when you had to rewrite a part of your Raw, a part of your storyline, does that mean you had to rewrite every damn thing?
No.
Does that affect everything? I mean,
let's look at this. Granted, they had to rewrite because of The Rock. Was The Rock really going to wrestle in Raw?
Probably not.
Exactly. He doesn't wrestle for free.
Right.
Brock says it. Rock actually means it. So, yeah, it's not like he was going to wrestle on Raw. They could have done something else, but but that leads us to what happened with Ryback.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. We had the match with Henry and Cena.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't even really remember who won the match. Who won the match? Did Cena win?
Was it DQ? I don't even know.
I don't even remember.
The crowd was at that point I was paying more attention to the crowd.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Was that when they were doing the wave?
No, that was way earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, by this time they were just doing the Fandango theme.
Yeah.
But, I don't really remember what happened. But the bottom line is that Ryback came out, beat up on Mark Henry, seemed to make the save for Cena.
Yeah.
And then he went up to Cena and shook his hand and then put him in the shell shock.
Right.
Is that a heel turn for Ryback?
This show was really hard to say because you can't tell with that crowd.
Because he would... Okay, that crowd got Fandango over.
Right.
And got Ryback over.
Supposedly. I mean, for right now,
Well, here's why I say that. Nobody can control that crowd. That crowd was apeshit bananas off their rocker. The only time that crowd got drawn into what was actually happening and chanted along with something that was happening in the ring and happening with storyline was when Ryback started doing Feed Me More after, all the stuff he was doing with Cena. The crowd was firmly behind Ryback.
Chanting Feed Me, which I thought that was kind of crazy. He's like, Ryback came out over, he was doing this Feed Me More thing. And the comment, I think Lawler said it, but it was like, really? You're trying to get the fans to chant something? What?
And he did.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
He was the one to tame the wild stallion of the New Jersey crowd. He was the only one.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, who'd have freaking thunk it? So...
Or maybe by that time they were so freaking tired, they're like, okay, we gotta chant this now.
Maybe. I don't know. And so that just plays into this whole thing. Was this a heel turn or was it not? Because... the crowd dug it. They were into it. They were giving him face pops.
Take the crowd out of it.
Okay. Let's take the crowd out of it.
Okay. Ryback, he's a face. He comes out. He takes out the heel that's attacking Cena. He helps Cena out, and then he does his finisher.
Cena.
Yeah. Is that a heel turn? Because not only did he...
It's hard to say, because it could be just Ryback beating up the champ, saying, I want a shot at the title.
Okay, well, let's take it. Let me finish here.
Go ahead.
He did his shell shock. He went down, he did a little arm gesture.
Yes, the little...
That's kind of heelish.
What gesture is that?
It's kind of like flipping, it's kind of like flipping the bird without flipping the bird.
Yeah.
Doing the little arm gesture thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that and he picked up the title and that's kind of a heelish. His motion, what he was doing after the fact, it was very heelish.
Yeah, the arm gesture thing was kind of heelish. The fact that he actually attacked Cena was kind of heelish. So, maybe he is a heel.
Yeah, because if he was still a face, I think he just would have, after he saved Cena, I think he just would have picked up the belt, looked at it for a second, and then handed it over to him, but then kind of tried to take it back from him or something.
Yeah.
Or made a statement like, hey, I'm wanting this. But him flat out attacking him with his finisher.
Right.
And then, kind of gloating about it, I guess.
Yeah. Now let's strip all that down even further and just look at it from this perspective. Ryback has lost his last, 4 pay-per-view matches?
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell does he get a shot before Mark Henry? Mark Henry beat him.
Henry didn't win. I remember that because I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, he's not the number one.
Okay. Well, okay, Henry didn't win.
Yeah.
Still, it stands. Why the hell Ryback? Ryback didn't even beat Henry, who just lost. Like,
Yeah.
why would he be the next up? Like,
Is he the number one on the Power 25?
Maybe. Fuck if I know. I've never even looked at the damn Power 25. The only time I ever remember messing with a Power 25 is on one of the damn WWE video games, and then even with that, I didn't care about it that much.
Because it's a video game, it's not real.
Yeah, right.
That lends credence to, well, if Henry was just to come out and challenge him for the title, he's got to fight him. So does that mean next week Ryback's got to fight Cena in a non-title match to determine if he can fight him for the pay-per-view? Or for a title shot?
Well, no. Ryback will have to fight Mark Henry, and if he beats Mark Henry, he gets to fight Cena. No, he gets to fight Mark Henry, and then if he beats Henry, then he gets to fight Cena, and if he beats Cena, then he gets to fight Cena again to fight him for the title. Did I just make your eyes go cross-eyed?
Yes.
All right.
I think everybody's going cross-eyed on that.
Right.
Jeez.
I think that's one of those things that as far as the heel turn goes, it'll just be a wait and see. Let's see what happens on SmackDown. Let's see what happens on next week's Raw, and then we could determine a little bit more.
I think it's a heel turn.
You think so?
Yeah.
And if it is a heel turn, are you going to be booing it, or are you going to be cheering for it?
I mean, I'd be doing any.
Okay.
Just okay.
I might get behind it. I don't know.
Let's see what he can do as a heel.
Okay.
I'm kind of curious.
Let's let it be. All right.
Would he still be doing the stupid "Feed Me More" chants? Or would he be...
I don't know, man. That's what makes it so weird, because that "Feed Me More" chant should be like a face thing, and...
It is a face thing.
You want to take the crowd out of it, but in reality, you can't take that crowd out of it. That crowd reaction.
Or is it just going to be a face-on-face?
I don't know.
Yeah, so...
That was really strange. That was another Raw anomaly. Okay. Is there anything else that we want to talk about from WWE this week?
Probably, but I can't think. I'm tired.
You done?
I think so.
All right. We're done. Whew. Wow, that was a lot of material to get through. That was some crazy crap.
And we still have an interview to do.
We still have an interview to do. Holy shit. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to that. All right?
Well, let's, I think you wanted to plug some indie shows.
Do we want to do that first?
Yeah, sure. And then I can,
Okay. Well, then let's do that first. Okay.
Because you went to a show this past weekend.
Yes, I did. I went to the Coastal Wrestling Federation, CWF, down in Lamarck, Texas.
Yeah.
That was on Saturday night, so it was,
I was kind of tight on funds, so I couldn't make the trip.
Yeah. I get it. Whatever. That show, man. I know, we just got done talking about the crowd at Raw, whatever. But for an indie show, let's get that Jersey crowd out of our heads. For an indie show, that crowd was hot, and it was really big. There was a lot of freaking people there.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of people there. And that crowd was really hot. They were chanting and cheering and booing for all kinds of stuff. Granted, their chanting probably wasn't as organized as like some other places or whatever, but they were still, chanting along. They were still booing the heels, cheering for the faces whenever there was...
Being good little fans.
You say that so belittling, like you're being so belittling there. No, I'm trying to compliment them. I'm saying
dance, puppets, dance.
Shut up. I'm trying to compliment them, saying that their crowd was really good and their crowd was really hot.
Yes, good job.
So that was really interesting to see. We got to see some of our favorites here in the indie scene put on pretty good show. And Steve DeMarco. Oh my God, that guy cut a hell of a promo and. We saw him at TSAW, and that was pretty cool. And he got a little bit of mic time, but he got a little bit more over here at CWF, and he really got a chance to shine there, and it was really cool. And I think it was a all around good show, man.
Cool. All right.
So it was decent. So
what show was that again?
Coastal Wrestling Federation, CWF, down in Lamarck, Texas. It's at the National Guard Armory.
Did they say when their next show is going to be?
I'm sure they did, but I didn't catch it. And yeah, I'm a bad podcast host. I'm sorry, but it'll be probably next month.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. So that was some good stuff. I guess we could talk about the next show that's coming up here, the ROW show that's this weekend, this Saturday night at 7:00 at the Clear Lake Recreation Center. And as always, whenever we have a ROW show coming up, we try to interview one of their guys because, hey, we love the ROW and we love their guys and they've been around for a while and, been to every show. So, well, almost every show. Some great stuff. So, how about now? Do you want to get into the interview now?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's set that up. Here we go. All right, everybody, we have another great interview here for you tonight. We have none other than local indie star from Booker T, ROW, the very talented and very charismatic Kelly Kevin. Not only has he been the former ROW Ironman champion, but he was also the last PWA Women's Champion. And we are so excited to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us, Kelly Kevin. How have you been, man?
Hey, how's it going, you guys? Doing really well. Glad to be on the show.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. Tell you what, we've been kind of doing this with most of all of our stars that we've been interviewing here. So we're not gonna, treat you any different, man. We're gonna give you the question that's kind of our trademark that we've been doing here. What is it that you like?
Lay it on me. What you got?
What is it that you liked when you were a kid, man? When you were, little Kev, who was it that you liked? What did you watch as far as wrestling goes?
Well, wrestling, I started a little later than some people. I really got in with the boom of wrestling, the 96, 97. Actually, one of my friends came over to my house one day, running over, you gotta turn on the TV, because it was the day after Hogan turned heel. When he went to the NWO, I had never seen wrestling until that day. I saw Hogan cut like that infamous promo, and ever since then it was on. I think I went like 2 years without missing a Monday Night Nitro or Raw, and that was kind of my claim to fame, that no matter what was going on, I was going to be home. So I'd leave dates, I would leave practice, whatever it was, because I had to see wrestling. And the guys like Sting, for whatever reason, Crow Sting could do no wrong. Now Sting, I'm not sure, he's a little out there now, but Crow Sting back in the days could do no wrong. And the Cruiserweights. That was my biggest thing. I didn't see WWE or WWF back then for a good while, actually. I didn't see that until like the WrestleMania 14. So I came a little late into it, but once I was there, I was hooked.
Awesome. That's really interesting that you came in that late. I don't think that I've known anyone else that has come in that late. But what else is cool about that is that was during wrestling's heyday, so to speak. Like that's when the big boom happened. So you would think that would be producing a lot of current talent and people that are coming around now. And that's
so many people that I wrestle with and that got into the business. Their parents watched wrestling and they got into it when they were little. My parents didn't even know what wrestling was. So it just wasn't something that was in my household, but now it is, and I feel sorry for them because they had to deal with it for a long time.
Well, let's kind of play off of that and go further down the timeline there. So you got into wrestling, you liked it, you were watching Raw, you were watching Nitro, and then what was it that made you say, you know what, I want to do this and get in the ring and actually be a performer? What's the story there?
Well, I did martial arts my whole life. I started in kindergarten. I made it to my 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo, 2nd degree in Kung Fu Do. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I competed on Team USA, which a lot of people don't know about. That was my life, until I was my 20s. But I did demonstrations. That was my biggest thing. I was on the demonstration team. And one day, just happened to be, I was doing a demonstration at a wrestling show, a local indie show. I look back now and it was so awful. Probably 20 people in the crowd, and but I saw those local stars, and I got to be in the ring, and do my little karate performance. And afterwards, I was talking to the promoter, and I was 14 at the time, and he was trying to get a couple young guys to start in the business very young, and kind of grow them up in the business. So I jumped at the opportunity because I again loved wrestling. Actually some of the guys that are still around today, y'all love to give them a hard time, and I love to give them a hard time, but Dave Hollier, Alex Villario, and the Pride we all started together at Dave was 12, I was 14.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know you guys went that far back all together, man. That's really awesome. How did y'all come about, like, getting up on? Because I know you were one of the originals there, but how did it come about that you guys started up with PWA?
Well, originally Booker T and Stevie Ray started their school together with the Falling Out, So Booker T reopened his school. And when he did that, he did a big press thing. He went to a bunch of places, schools, a lot of radio shows, and we heard the radio interviews, saying, hey, if you want to be a wrestler, come down to Booker T's gym. I actually went up there with, we don't always see eye to eye now, but, I went up there with pride, actually. Me and him rode together. She's the one that called me. I was actually out, don't really do this much anymore, but we were out shooting guns and out in the country where we lived. And, he calls me middle of the afternoon. Hey, drop everything you're doing. We're going to Booker T's tonight. So, about, second guessing it, got in the car, drove to Booker's. He gave us the whole spiel, hey, if you want to come be a wrestler, let's see what you got. We were a little bit of a disadvantage because at that time, if you had already been trained, you had to get in the ring with Booker and wrestle him, and he would see if, you were ready. If you had a lot of bad habits, he was just going to kick you out. If you were brand new, fresh off the street, you could start training, but if you had been wrestling, you didn't have to break bad habits. So, first day ever meeting Booker T was, all right, kid, let's get in the ring, and let's do 5 minutes. So, needless to say, one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life. And I will tell any fans that want to know, yes, Booker T hits very hard.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that, that's basically how it was. And, with our interview with Steve DeMarco, he did mention a little bit about that Booker wanted to have people that he could mold, new people himself, and that he always wanted to try to break the bad habits of people that were already wrestling. So that's interesting. Now we're hearing that from a couple of different sources, getting that, like, a different perspective. Was it really hard for you did you have a whole lot of bad habits going into it? Were you able to adapt to the way Booker wanted you to go?
Yeah, luckily, I was trained. I did do a lot of people don't know, just because, different name, different everything, totally different character and gimmick, we'll talk about later, but, I was just any generic wrestler, Cajun kid, wrestled all over Texas, for about 2 years, 3 years before I met up with Book. But again, being like 16-year-old, 15-year-old kid, you're not getting that many crazy bookings or anything. But, because I was young, Book kind of, helped out. But my original trainer, his name was, Mark Monerick, or Rick Marevis, whatever you want to call him, his real name. He taught us the basics. It was very basic, not big about psychology, not big about this, just wrestling, amateur wrestling. So when I went to Book, I had a very good background in amateur wrestling, but he really molded us to WWE style. And luckily I picked it up quick enough that Book was, kind of let me stay. And I was actually his first student at the project, kind of not quite yet. So I was the first student there, and somehow I'm still here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, you mentioned it a little bit in there about, the character. And that's the one thing that's just made you so much different than everybody else. It's the Kelly Kevin character. And
yes, the Kelly Kevin character.
Let me ask you, man, what's the origins of that, man? How did that come about?
It's kind of funny. It's kind of become the urban legend of the Texas indie scene. There were a couple different stories, but really the true one is probably the most interesting that anybody's come up with of the random stories I've heard. First ever, I was very lucky. I've been so blessed with being at Booker's and the way he's treated me, and because I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the most athletic guy. Book's just taking a liking to me, and I like to think I can hold my own in the ring, but really early on, I was only there for a few months. That WWE show came to town. Book asked me if I wanted to go just to be an extra, just try and get some work, whatever I could do. I got, I was working around a little bit, and my luck had it, Triple H saw me. And he's a giant fan of Adrian Street's, guy from back in the day, did a very exotic character. And, this has been twisted around a lot. I don't even know the truth because Booker's one that came and told me afterwards. But, as you know, hair down, long hair, skinny guy, look very girly sometimes, and so, the word was he had hair down. He looked over and first I think he thought it was a girl. He looked over, he's like, the sexy little man over there. Don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's what's driven me. But it was Triple H's idea. He was, very nice about it, kind of very respectful. Hey, you're not the biggest guy. You got to work with what you got. And, you might not get a look. just being you, generic wrestler, but you put the character on you, if you really work it, even someone your size, might be able to really break something into this business. So it was actually a combination of Booker and Triple H. So,
wow.
yeah.
Booker and Triple H came up with the Kelly Kevin gimmick.
Yeah, you couldn't make them a stranger story, so,
That's another Houston Wrestling Radio exclusive right here, folks.
Yeah, probably.
There you go. This is the first interview I've told it on, so there you go.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us, man. But that is such a crazy story. Like, who would have thunk Triple H and Booker would have came up with that for you? That's crazy, man. I gotta say that you gotta be a brave dude to be doing that type of character at the time, and it seems as though when you were first doing it back then, it was more pronounced. Like, you were fighting only the girls. They were trying to make it sound like you kind of were a girl and we weren't really supposed to know that you were a guy at some point. I mean, now it's more like, oh, that's just his character or whatever, but he's really a dude and this and that. I want to ask you, how nervous were you when that thing first came around? Did you think that was not going to be well received? What did you think of that?
Oh man, that first night was, it was rough. It actually started as something a little different. It started, as a very, almost pat kind of character. If you don't know, guy, girl, very androgynous, or dominatrix almost style. Like, we twisted, we went back and forth between both. I had a full outfit made, and I was wrestling a girl named, Maria, I can't remember what she was working at the time, but, and she also, worked as a cocktail waitress and this and that. So, we get the outfit made. 10 minutes before the match, Book looks at it and says, I don't think so, I don't like it. Looked over at Maria, the girl that I'm wrestling that night, my debut, and says, what do you have in your car? Because she has all her makeup bag and everything. So she starts going through her bag and finds this little skin-tight, gold mini skirt. So Book says, yeah, I like that. Go ahead and put that on. So yeah. And so I have to go out in her clothes and for my debut match, the girl that I'm wrestling. And then after that, it just got crazier and crazier. I was terrified the first time. I've never done anything like that. I went from a martial arts background, very structured, discipline, to, doing the Cajun Kid gimmick where I was just, from Louisiana, so perfect fit, but just very generic, to within a month, all right, I want you to learn a new style of wrestling. I want you to be an entertainer now, and you're going to go out there in a mini skirt. Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
I will say I was blown away. It was you fans, y'all were there. So many fans. The reaction I got was priceless. First night out. So, I thank you guys. I thank all the wrestling fans that have just put this, the gimmick over so well. But, it was terrifying. Terrifying. I've never been in a miniskirt in my life, and there I am in front of, 1,000 people in a miniskirt.
And that's the thing about gimmicks. And I mean, I know that we're probably been talking about that with Fandango a little bit, that sometimes you think gimmicks won't work, but sometimes there's those crazy gimmicks that are just so crazy that they just might work. And I think the Kelly Kevin gimmick is one of those times where it's like, you're gonna have this guy come out here, thinks he's a girl, wrestle only the girls, and everybody just loved it. Everybody just fell in love with you. It was like, this guy is the best dude out there, and we just pop for you so much, and it still works to this day. People still adore Kelly Kevin. It's an awesome character.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, the night that I was, blown away, it's very rare, just to do keep my emotions in check and my, attitude and everything in check. There was one night, it was the first night ever wrestling one of the named girls, was against ODB, and she had a blast with it because, she was raunchier than I am. And, she was more a guy than I was a girl. And, but we were out there and the fans started chanting Kelly Kevin instead of ODB. And she just looked at me like, what the is going on around this place? This is a bizarro world. So we got a guy in a dress getting bigger chance than the girl with her boobs popping out. And, I love the PWA audience, and there's nowhere else in the world I'd rather wrestle.
That's awesome. I actually do remember that night. Now that you're bringing that up, that was a crazy night, a gender bending night, if you'd.
Well, it's not.
Man, it was insane.
Yeah, it's not just the gimmicks, but it's the performer that's doing the gimmick.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a big key right there. You know, if the performer can connect to the fans, then the gimmick that just comes natural. I think.
Yeah.
Gimmick works. I mean, some people have been given some great gimmicks. Some people have been given some awful gimmicks, and it's depending on you to make them work. Something we stress very hard around here because we do a lot of character stuff at ROW. We try to be pretty family friendly, and that does mean some character driven gimmicks that some people they can pull them off. Some people can get into them. Some people can't. I look at Cedric Payne as one of my prime examples. Somebody I worked with from the beginning of somebody that just went into that role, and you don't know where he ends when he's in the ring, where Cedric ends and Payne begins. You don't know, and he does such a great job with it because that's not the guy, but he fell into it, and the other guys that are just failed miserably.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing about this crazy, wacky world of wrestling here. Sometimes the gimmicks work, sometimes they don't, but there's always stories behind them, and it's just so amazing. But let's change gears a little bit here, Kev. There's some things out there people don't necessarily know a whole lot about you. You do more things at ROW than just be a wrestler and just playing this character. What are some of those other things that you do for the company?
Well, since I've been here since the beginning, pretty much, it was actually last year around January. Me and Booker sat down. We were in a meeting, and he just, all right, what do we need to do to make, at the time, PWA, what do we need to do to take that next step? And I had already done some little highlight videos and things, some commercials we've done, and I was already helping a little bit because, there's a couple of us in the back that Booker, we've all worked together, we all have the same mindset of how to make things work, and he kind of, finally gave us the ball to run with and said, what can we do? And we decided, in a kind of a group effort, let's rebrand it, let's come up with a concept, and let's try and make a weekly TV show. So, in saying that, I didn't know exactly what it would entail of. I am now the producer, one of the writers, I make all the editing and videos, kind of the second in command, which is why, I hate doing it sometimes, but I'm not on all the shows, I'm not on every episode every week of ROW just because I do have a lot of behind the scenes thing now. But yeah, I kind of, Paul Cook is another one that's kind of helping behind the scenes. Not a wrestler, but me, him, and Booker pretty much do everything you see right now.
That's really interesting, and I think that's cool that you're getting that experience, with booking and editing the video and producing the videos. I think that's cool because you're not just getting experience to be in the ring, but also to do all these other things that are so very, very important to the wrestling industry. That being said, do you think that you'll be able to use those tools and use those skills that you're learning more so to go higher up in the industry, or are you still wanting to try to be a wrestler or something to try to make it to the big leagues, WWE, TNA, or whatnot?
I've always, one of the best lessons I ever learned was a few years back. We did a spot with TNA, with Booker, and, stuff with Vince Russo. He came down. Me, Nico, Abel Andrew Jackson, Gustavo Mendoza, and Rockstar Robbie did some vignettes for TNA and worked a little thing for him. Vince Russo was in there talking to us, and he told me, wear many hats. Learn everything about this business you can. Get your foot in the door any way you can. So when this whole thing with ROW started, hey, do you want to try and be the producer? Hey, do you want to try and help write? That's kind of what went through our mind of, get your foot in the door any way you can. Recently, I went to a WWE show and got to kind of be behind the scenes on the other side and watch the production and this, and that, which is phenomenal. And if people only knew how much goes into those shows, and just the precision that they have, it is amazing. But I would like to get it any way I can. Of course, my heart and soul is always in wrestling. I love performing. It's just something I've always naturally done from martial arts when I was on the competition team to now, in wrestling. But that said, there's a lot more security in being a producer and a lot less, headaches and, I don't know about headaches, but a lot less, getting hit in the head as a producer. I will say that being a producer and learning how to set up all the shots and telling the guys, okay, when you do this, I need you to be facing this way, has upped my game tenfold in the ring, though, because I think of all those things now, which I never used to think about. I never used to think about, where's the camera when I do this? Okay, when I do this and look this way, what camera's going to be in my face? What reaction should I make? I really think there might be more of a future in writing shows, promoting, producing. If I can get some kind of, job with the WWE, being a backstage writer, you better believe I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you, man. That'd be really, really cool. And, sometimes, when guys like us are producing shows for listeners, and whenever we're talking to indie people, I think sometimes we get too caught up in like, oh man, I can't wait to see this guy on TV. I really hope, our hometown kid makes it and we'll see him be the next Shawn Michaels or whatever. But doing the behind the scenes stuff, that's really important. And, we may not have the next Shawn Michaels, but who knows, we might have the next Paul Heyman. That's just as important, if not, maybe even sometimes a little bit more important than the actual performers out there. But man, if you were to make it to that level, man, that'd be awesome, Kev. I think that would be really, really great for you to do. And man, if you just keep on working at it and keep producing the same type of, same type of show that you guys are doing now, you're doing a great job. I think, someday, you'll get there, man. I think that'd be really cool, man.
Well, just to, plug, of course, as wrestler, producer, everything else, I gotta plug it. The ROW show, in my mind, has come along so far. We just hit our 1-year anniversary on this March event. It's our 1-year anniversary of doing the YouTube show. I watched that first episode the night before our 1-year anniversary, and then watched the show that we just did that week of. And, to me, it's night and day. I see, of course, there's always flaws. There's always things you want to fix and change. But, I feel like in this year we've come so far, and, the next year is going to be even further.
Awesome. I can't wait to just see how much more you grow and how much bigger that this will get, and hopefully we'll have a indie scene here that would rival that of like New York or Philly or something. We'll just, get Houston to be even more on the map than even what it is now, and I think that would be awesome. But speaking of all that, we do have a show coming up this week, right?
That's right, this Saturday, Clear Lake, Texas.
All right, man. Why don't you go ahead and just tell me everything that's going to be going down at the show? Well, everything that you could tell us right now, as far as like what's going on the card and all that.
Well, we do know that the Lockharts. I don't know if you guys. I know you guys have seen them. Hottest new tag team around. So impressed with these guys. They've got the look. They've got the agility and ability. That's who I wrestled last month.
Yeah.
Locked up with them the first time I've ever done, and these guys blew me away. The athleticism. And these two kids, they're from Minnesota. It's just unbelievable, and I really do believe, especially with WWE trying to up their tag team division, that they're going to be somebody you see really soon. Also, this whole thing with the American Eagle versus Ryan Davidson, they've been going back and forth for a little while. I'm really interested to see kind of where this plays out and how this all ends. We are trying to have, a big event in the next month or two. We are trying to do our feed channel. It's PHEED/Booker T. It's $2.99 for a month subscription. You get to see everything that's on there for the month. We've been kind of slacking on it. We're about to push it really hard and really start putting a lot of content on there, doing iPay reviews on there, which hopefully we'll have everything set up for our May show, the next iPay review show with American Eagle, Ryan Davidson. It's going to be phenomenal. Those two guys always rock the house. Also, Mitch Baxter's returning from Oklahoma. He's been gone for about 2 months. He's a guy that, I wish we could have every month, but he is a busy man. He's always traveling and doing shows all over the U.S., so we're glad to have him back. Man, I don't know if you guys saw, but that dive that he made at the outside on everybody, breathtaking. It's awesome.
That was awesome.
And also, we have a new champion. They the Hammer, Jasper Davis. He's been, kicking it all around Houston, the Texas scene. He finally pulled out the big one, went up against Rob Barnes. And he's going to be taking on the person he had the first ROW feud with him and the Pride. So the Pride gets his first title shot. So, and every time they've hooked up so far has been just a ridiculous match. So I'm really looking forward. I think it's going to be a pretty stacked card. Only, 8 to 10 matches, top to bottom. I don't know anybody around Texas that does the kind of show that we do. We don't just try and do a little indie show. We try and make it a production. We try and make it, as good a TV quality as we can do, taping 3 events in one night. The fans always get their money's worth.
Yeah, and I know that I'm gonna be there, and I really look forward to this week's matchups. You mentioned Jasper and Pride having good matches, and I do remember that from a couple of months back. They have had a couple of just wars in the ring, and the fact that they're gonna have another one over the title, I think that's gonna be really cool, and that's gonna be a must see one. And we're definitely gonna be there, man. We're gonna check out your show, man. That's gonna be some good stuff. Everyone else out there that's listening, if you get a chance to come out to the Clear Lake area, come check out this show. You really should, man. It's some really, really good stuff they got going on there. All right, Kev, is there anything else you just want to add on there before we go ahead and just wrap it up?
Just that I love you. I love your partner. I will probably be shaking my ass towards you this weekend. Me. And I don't know if I can say that because of I don't know if this is a PG show, but and you better have your dollars ready because I don't.
Yeah, you can say that. It's not a PG show, but I don't know. I still might edit that out anyway. I'm a little uncomfortable and blushing right now.
Are you blushing? Excellent.
He's done his job.
All right, Kev.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it. You guys are great at this. I listen to your show all the time. And keep it up. ROW loves you. I hope you'll keep supporting us.
Thanks so much, Kevin. We love and appreciate you guys all back. That's why we always have you on our show, man. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on, man. Let's go ahead and roll on with the rest of the show, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was our interview with Kelly Kevin.
The Magnificent.
The Splendous. Come on, give me another one.
Fuck, I don't know.
Geez, you dropped the ball on me again, Travis.
You should be used to it by now.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well,
Hey,
anyway, thanks so much for coming on our show, man, and all you listeners out there, you could check out his show that he helps put together, which is Booker T's ROW. And
he also, we didn't mention it in the interview, but he does pop up on other indie feds too. We saw him at TSAW.
Yeah.
A couple weekends ago, and so you can catch him at other shows too. And once you catch his act, you're gonna forget it.
Yeah.
So,
he's a memorable one, and he's hard to miss.
Yeah. Yeah.
The skinny long haired dude who kind of dresses like a girl.
The dude who looks like a lady.
Dude looks like a lady.
Oh my God! Don't ever do that again.
That's what his entrance music was.
For all our sakes.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay, I'll try not to, but I'm not giving you any guarantees.
Don't do that ever again in life.
Screw you, man. All right, I guess I'll do it for this week. Before we go, I gotta do our little shouts and plug outs. Wait, I screwed that up. Shout outs and plugs. There you go. That's how you say
what?
it. We gotta talk about the other peeps. There you go.
Oh.
Not Christian peeps. No, not like that.
Because I was about to say, we already ate all the peeps.
Yeah, all the peeps are gone.
Yes.
Okay.
And hey, they found Christian.
Yes, they did find Christian. He was at Access signing autographs.
And they never used him.
No, they didn't. And
you think it would have been a good show for him on Raw? Do you think that would have been a good crowd for him to return?
Probably. Well, I think it probably would have been better for RVD to show up. It has been rumored that he did already sign a 2-year contract.
I doubt it, though. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Anyway, let's not get back into more WWE talk. Let's save it for next week. Let's get into our shout-outs.
You know another thing about WWE.
Oh, shut up, Travis. All right. If you do want to listen to more wrestling talk, I have a couple other podcasts here that you might want to take a listen to.
Wait, there's other wrestling podcasts?
Yes.
Damn it, I thought we were the only ones.
No, we're not the only ones.
God.
There's other people.
Next
out there.
thing you're gonna say, someone like Cole Cabana has a podcast too.
Cole Cabana does have a podcast.
Dude, what?
Yes, it's rather good actually. It's really good.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We need to get him on our show.
Or we could be on his show.
He has a show?
Yeah. I just
dang.
said that. Oh my god, this guy.
Damn.
Okay, anyway, let me get to... Can I start these plugs, please?
I'm not stopping you.
Okay, yes you are. Alright. Check out...
How am I stopping you?
Shut up. Check out the Wrestling Chronicle. And they are now on iTunes. I believe I had said this last week that they named their show the Pile Driver Podcast. So you can check them out on Twitter at Wrestling Chron, CHRON, and they have a pretty good show there. And they plug us a little bit, we plug them. There are some good guys up there really trying to start along, and they've only been at it for about a month or two. So support them, check them out. They're
Tell him Houston Wrestling Radio sent you.
Yes, tell them that, because that means a lot. Alright, next up, Shining Wizards. Wow, these guys had a heck of a weekend. I mean, we thought we had a pretty cool weekend, with WrestleMania and going to CWF and whatnot. They had a crazy weekend. They had a convention, actually wrestling convention called WrestleCon that they were at, and they had John Morrison signing autographs for them. And while they were there at WrestleCon, there was all these other wrestlers that they got to meet and talk to, and they were posting pictures all weekend, and they were able to get interviews on the fly with other people there at WrestlingCon. And I'm not sure if they've already posted up all of it. I do know that they said that they had been working on it all weekend, trying to get up a show, but you should really check it out and see all the craziness that went into that whole WrestleMania weekend there in the New York, New Jersey area. They were there on hand for it. That's where they're from, Jersey. So I'm sure they have some really cool stuff to say this
Think they're
past
part
week.
they were part of the crowd, do you think?
They might have actually been. I'm not sure. I know that they were there at Mania, and they said that they walked out as soon as John Cena's music hit, so they didn't actually watch Cena versus The Rock.
Come on.
They said that on freaking Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, check them out at facebook.com/
Facebook.com? What?
Yeah, on Facebook, which is facebook.com / Shining Wizards. And you can follow them on Twitter at Wizards Podcast.
And they got a cool logo.
They do have a cool logo. Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous of it, actually.
What? Why are you jealous of it?
Cause
Our logo's cool.
yeah, but they went old school on there. The old WWE logo.
Do you want an old school logo?
Yeah. Hello. I've been saying it from day one. This fool don't listen to me.
I don't listen to you at all. Next one that we got up. This one's a new one. It's called Wrestling Heels, and their website that you can check them out at is WrestlingHeels.com. You can follow them on Twitter. They actually have two different Twitter handles there because they got a couple of different people that are on the show and that they all tweet. One of them is at Wrestling Heels. That's the easy one. The other one is at WH Radio Live. Now these guys, they do a live show where you can call in and, they'll take your call and you could talk about, whatever they happen to be talking about at the time. So that's, pretty cool. They had one after WrestleMania. They had one after Raw. I called in over there, after Raw. So that was, pretty cool. Got to chat with them a little bit. And they also had another show that they were doing tonight. So these guys are busy. They do a lot of freaking shows.
So do they go up against, do they always feud with Wrestling Faces podcast?
Is there a Wrestling Faces podcast?
I'm sure there is.
Oh, you're being funny.
Trying to.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
There's Wrestling Heels and
Well, okay.
Wrestling Faces.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Now that you had to explain it.
If there's not a podcast called Wrestling Faces, there's going to be now.
We're not renaming our podcast Wrestling Faces, Travis.
Oh, I know. I'm sure, but they're always popping up, so
okay.
I'm sure someone would come up with one.
Anyway, go listen to Wrestling Heels at WrestlingHeels.com.
And don't listen to Wrestling Faces. Listen to Wrestling Heels.
Yes. God damn it, Travis. This heel over here. You're such a heel, Travis.
I know selling that one.
Okay, and he knows so did. Anyway, check out WrestlingHeels.com.
Because I'm a heel.
Shut up, Travis. Let me finish these. All right. Next, moving away from wrestling, we have stoppage time from our friends down here in the Houston area. They cover the Houston Dynamo soccer, and they got a little event coming up here soon. They're actually going to have a tournament for FIFA, and they are inviting people to come out here and check it out.
Who's having a tournament?
Stoppage time. They're having a tournament for FIFA.
They're going to be playing soccer?
Yes.
Or football? Or whatever?
Well, yes. On video game systems, FIFA. The FIFA game.
Oh, okay. I thought they were actually playing,
Travis, just shut the hell up, man. Let me do these. They're going to be playing on Xbox and PS3. Here,
Okay.
does that clear it up
Yes.
for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And the tournament is going to be on the 15th. And it's going to be at 7:30 p.m. And it's going to be at the King's Head Pub. It's at 1809 Eldridge Parkway in Houston, Texas. Actually, I think that might actually be technically Katy, Texas. It's either Katy or Houston. Google that shit. 1809 Eldridge Parkway. The King's Head Pub. They are going to be giving out prizes. So go out there with all your mad FIFA skills and try to kick some ass and win some prizes. And that's, from our friends at Stoppage Time. Of course, you could check out their Twitter, and their Twitter handle is at HNH Stoppage Time. And you could download their show off of iTunes, and that is, the way you search it on iTunes is Stoppage Time with Hero and Hammer. So make sure it's that one, because there's other stoppage times out there that's on iTunes. So make sure you find the one that's for Hero and Hammer, that's covering the Houston Dynamo and all kinds of neat little soccer stuff here. So if you're a fan of soccer, go check them out, and they're our good friends. All right, let's see here. What else we got next? Well, since you were talking so much about logos and logo designs and whatnot, maybe we should hit up our friend Aaron at Awesome AG Designs. He created our logo that I like, and you want an old school one now, so maybe we can see if he could do
I
an
didn't
old school
say it.
one.
No, hold on. Now you're making me look like a bad guy.
Because you are a bad guy. You're the heel.
I never said I didn't like our logo. I just said I like the Shining Wizards logo.
Okay.
Just because it's got, they took the old logo from WWF and
Yeah.
they're using that as theirs,
Okay.
So I can dig it.
Anyway, if you need any logo work or t-shirt designs or
If
what
I didn't
have
like
you,
our logo, I would have said I don't like our logo, and we never would have used it.
Okay. Check out, God damn it. Check out Aaron. His Twitter handle is at MeanAaronG, and you can check out his Facebook page for his work, and that's at Awesome AG Designs on Facebook. So check that out.
Rumor is he is really mean.
Because he's Mean Aaron G. Yes. Yeah. He is kind of mean. But, he's a heel. And that's why people like him, right?
Yes.
There you go. All right. God damn it, Travis. How am I going to get through this? All right. Next one. Guys that do our music, Gnaw World Order, they're having a big-ass concert on April the 26th, and it's going to be at Dean's at 9 o'clock, and Dean's is on 316 Main Street in Houston, Texas. They are going to be playing, as well as a couple of other bands, so go and check them out. Check out we always talk about the indie wrestling scene here, but hey, also go check out the indie music scene. If you're into music and whatnot, go give these guys a listen.
Yeah.
Ta-da! There we go. All right. Thanks, Travis. You're so supportive. All right. Talked about this a little bit last week. Went to the Houston Roller Derby now 3 weekends ago. And they are going to have another bout. And that's what they call them. They're not matches or games. They're called bouts. So, they're having their next bout on April the 20th. And that's at the Bayou Music Center. It also used to be known as the Verizon Wireless Theater for anybody confused out there. Check them out. You can also, check out their updates and stuff on Twitter, and that's at Hugh Roller Derby. HOU Roller Derby. Check that out.
When was the next match again?
On April the 20th. Last but not least, hey, check out our stuff. By the way, you might be listening to our podcast right now on our website, HoustonWrestlingRadio.com. If you are, thank you so much. There's a little like button on there that you could do now. We don't really talk about that all that often, but hey, if you have a Facebook account and you have it open in another tab and you click like, hey, that'll share our little thing on there and it'll say that you like Houston Wrestling Radio, so that'd be awesome.
Like us, people. Come on.
Come on, like us. I'm a likable guy. Travis, not so much.
If not for me, do it for Abel.
Yes, do it for me.
He needs the love and support.
Yes, I do. Now, if you guys downloaded us off of iTunes, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. And also, on there, they have a little thing there where you go and rate it, a certain star amount. So if you rate it 5 stars,
and you can
awesome.
type up a little review for us too.
Exactly, type up a nice little review.
We want to know how we're doing, folks.
Yeah,
So,
tell us how much Travis sucks.
now, wait a minute. Be careful what you ask for.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It may not be my name they're mentioning there.
Yeah, that's true.
Buddy
That's
boy.
True. Just keep it PG. All right, so yeah, do that. Also, we have our YouTube, and if you're checking us out on YouTube, thank you so much. We try to take our podcast here and add nice little pretty pictures to have a little visual aid to what we're talking about. And of course, on there, you could also like and comment and whatnot on there.
You can even subscribe to us.
Yes, you can. Oh, you can subscribe to us on YouTube and on iTunes.
Get out of here.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Wow.
That way, the next time you log on to your iTunes account, boom, it's right there. The next time you log into your YouTube account, boom, it's right there.
Man.
Technology.
This internet thing is fantastic.
I know. It's, Jericho did a really good job when he invented that.
I know, I gotta think one day.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. The last but not least, check out our Facebook account, Facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. We've been having a lot of interaction there over the past couple of weeks. And hey, if you're on there and you're liking our statuses, putting statuses on our page, commenting on our stuff, thank you so much. We really appreciate every little like that we get. It's really cool when I look down at my phone and there's a notification and it's for Houston Wrestling Radio. It makes my day.
It's what Abel lives for. So
Yeah, it's the only thing in my life that I live for.
you think he's kidding? He's not. This is all he's got, folks.
It's all I got. Please.
I know this guy.
Please like me. Please.
He's not kidding, folks. He's crying right now. Get over it.
All right. Well,
Jeez, you big baby.
the Facebook is really more or less ran by Travis, actually. So if
You're breaking the fourth wall, man.
Yeah, I know. If you want to really show Abel some love, if you want to show me some love, do so on the Twitter account @HWrestlingRadio. I'm the one who's always fiddling around with the Twitter because this guy over here doesn't know a damn thing about Twitter. So hit me up.
That is not a joke either. I don't know anything about Twitter.
Yeah. Hit me up on Twitter, guys. If you have anything you want to talk about, or you want to tell us that our show sucks, or that it's awesome, or you want to find some awesome retweets that I just do throughout the day, go ahead and check us out.
We try to respond to any comments or anything that y'all put on our Facebook page. If we don't get to it, we see it. We thank you for it. But we try to respond when we can.
Yeah, I think we respond to almost everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because we're desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our show, guys. We will have another great show for you next week. I don't know if we're going to have anybody to interview, but who knows?
We'll interview ourselves.
I'll interview Travis next week.
Get some more exclusives.
Yes. Oh, God. Okay. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy.